am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Pinnock Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Pinnock Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Hello. Good morning. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I almost says I am sure trouble in a paradise. I am sure sports. Big up and welcome to the show, people. I am Manning's man and I hope you're having a great start to your morning. Today, the atmosphere on the show will be one of peace, love, and unity, where our message will emanate just good vibes. We'll speak on positive things and try our utmost best to ensure that even when we are the most critical, we're operating objectively and giving solutions to the myriad of problems that we face in our football. I want to thank you for tuning in and being a part of the show. All right. I am Manning's man. Big up to Brian, Fabi Frano, Mr. United, Ian Campbell, Tyrone Williams, Detaway Ripple Effects, J. Ross, Triple E, easy no man, Brain Drain, LeBron James is the one. I will not say the rest. Oh, Uncle Demo with 4 fires. What is he saying about Ja at this time? Bless up yourself. As usual, want you to hit the like button, subscribe, and share the content. For those of you who desire to come onto the platform, you know we appreciate having different panelists joining and being a part of the show. However, because we are trying to make our brand a multi-million-dollar business, right? Multi-million. We're talking US dollars now, not just currency. We would prefer if you do this using video. If for any reason you're unable to join via video, we still have a way, and that way is by calling in and speaking to us on the phone. The number runs as a banner on the program. All right. I also want to big up man like Reedy, who is here. Port St. Lucie in the building. You're going to hear me talking to Reedy one of these days, you know. They're having a big event coming up in May. You understand me? I play some football with them and they are... Reedy, you need to come and tell the people that when I play the ball with the Masters, how brilliant I look, scoring from all over the park. You understand me? You need to tell them about my qualities because they still don't know that management has the touch. You understand me? Arden TV up. Anita Bell, the first female in the building. Again, sure improvement. You need to improve on your timing in the program. But I want to share with you a few thoughts before we get into the meat. Really say lie. Which part is a lie though? Oh my lord. I don't know. All right. But let me share with you some stuff, right? Laws of power. Win through your actions, never through argument. Win through your action and never through argument. Any momentary triumph you will think you have gained through argument is really a Pyrrhic victory. The resentment and ill will you stir up is stronger and lasts longer than any momentary change of opinion. It is much more powerful to get others to agree with you through your actions without saying a word. Demonstrate, do not explicate. Let me say it again. Demonstrate, do not explicate. Demonstrate, do not explicate. All right? Demo. Brain drain, what does the Bible say? Tell them the readers the money is come on. Busto! I am man. Yeah, all right. So let us continue. So demonstrate, not do not explicate. All right. So let me share that with you. So let me go on and give you. So in the realm of power, you must learn to judge your moves by their long-term effects on other people. The problem in trying to prove a point or gain a victory through argument is that in the end, you can never be certain how it affects the people you're arguing with. They may appear to agree with you politely, but inside they may resent you. Or perhaps something you said inadvertently even offended them. Words have that insidious ability to be interpreted according to other person's mood and insecurities. Even the best argument has no solid foundation, for we all have come to distrust the slippery nature of words. And days after agreeing with someone, we often revert to our old opinion out of sheer habit. Understand this: words are a dime a dozen. Everyone knows that in the heat of an argument, we will all say anything to support our cause. We will quote the Bible, refer to unverified statistics. Who can be persuaded by bags of air like that? Action and demonstration are much more powerful and meaningful. They are there before our eyes for us to see. Yes, now the statue's nose does look just right. There are no offensive words, no possibility of misinterpretation. No one can argue with a demonstrated proof, as Baltazar Garcia remarks. The truth is generally seen rarely heard. All right? I could go on and give you some more, but I will rest it there. So, win with your actions, not with your words. Welcome again. All right, some people say that sound like Mannings, man. Brain Drain says, what did the Bible say about keeping your mouth shut? All right, Brain Drain, what does it say, right? Talk to me. All right. Bless up, Kevin. Blessings to you, man. Kevy, DFM. Blessings. All right, you say it sounds like big up, really, definitely. You say it sound like me yesterday with Demo and Soldier. You know that is actually true. That is actually true. Arsenal win the Premier League title, and then actions will speak louder than words. A brain drain said, a point said, yesterday I went shopping and talk is still cheap. That's a good one. Hey, brain drain, these are the things that you put in your super sticker outside of your greeting. People, take that quote down, write it. You may need it one day. Yesterday I went shopping. Talk is still cheap. People, talk is still cheap. Let me say it to you again. Big up brain drain for that one. Talk is still cheap. In yesterday's Premier League action, Veer lost to Dunby Holden in the first game of the Monday night fixtures. Yes. Dunby Holden 3, Veer 1. Mount Pleasant defeated Chapperton Maroons by 7 goals to nil. That is the highest score line in the JPL this season. Highest score in any single game, most goals scored in any single game, biggest margin of victory, and it was Atafari Bygrave's first hat-trick of the season. All right? So Mount Pleasant have now are now the leading scorers in the league. They have scored the most goals, and they have one of the better defensive records. Their goal difference is the highest. They are in third position, right? Not only that, let me just give you that. They also have the most multiple goal scorers, meaning on the Mount Pleasant team, they have more persons who have scored more than one goal than any other team in the league. So, the playoffs are going to be interesting. 2 more rounds of games are left, right? So, yep, let's see. They still can finish second. I think Arnett Gardens just want to win one more game. And once Arnett Garden wins their one more game, it means that Arnett Gardens cannot fall less than second place. Cavaliers have 2. I think Cavaliers have Mullines and Moby, right? They will need to win those 2 games. If they lose one or drop points, they are just 1 point ahead of Mount Pleasant. They could be surpassed, all right? So, yeah. 16 teams will work. Don't even want to get there yet. So, yeah. So let's begin with our first topic of the morning. All right. Big up MPEC TV, sure improvement. You are 15 minutes late and the show started 10 minutes late. That means you're 25 minutes late, which means that you need to improve on your timing. Good morning to you. So you are the second female as Anita Bell is here before you. All right. Dre, any weather is here. Dre, you had some rain all day yesterday, man. Or it never affected it never reached your area. All right. So let's get into this. Let's give you my thoughts. First thing, Jamaica right now struggle to maintain 14 team in the top flight. In fact, if Mr. Christopher Williams, who has done a tremendous job with the JPL, along with Owen Hill, big up Mr. Christopher Williams. If you're listening, you can call in. Mr. Christopher Williams, tremendous job he has done. I'm telling you, the league has improved significantly under his leadership. Kudos to him and his team. And I will tell you this, they have some hardworking people that continues to put in human service to improve the quality of the league, the play, the venues, the broadcast, the jerseys, just the overall package, the entertainment value better. All right? So, and we have to give credit to Christopher Williams and Owen Hill. We have to give credit where credit is due. Do you understand me, people? We have to do that. And he has suggested that when we even move to 14, he proposed keeping it at 10, make it sustainable before you can add 2. Because at that time, 2 of the teams didn't have any sponsors. Because they were searching for individual sponsors for teams, and 2 had to be sponsored by the Jamaica Football Federation. Bam. So, it was explained to us that the whole franchise system, like MLS, is only allowed in 2 places right now. I think in Australia and in the USA. And it is something that FIFA doesn't really propose. Therefore, there needs to be relegation and there needs to be promotion. I think, though he did not agree, the chairman of the JPL had no choice but to go out and work along with his team to make the league still feasible, having increased it to 14. So let's go back. Cavaliers won 1 season. There was no demotion. The teams that were in the league before, when it was abrupted, there was no demotion, and even before that, right? So Cavaliers won. Harbour View won the last season. There was no demotion. No, I don't understand that how every season, like in this season, people, I have the document. When the information was put out this season, all the teams were told that there will be relegation and there will be promotion. All right? Let me say it again. Let me say it again. When this season began, all 14 teams in the league were told that there will be promotion and relegation. Everybody knew that. So, why? Because Chapelton and Falklands were prepared for relegation. Because they knew. So, management is asking this question. Why all of a sudden, without any questions being asked, someone comes out and say it's going to be 16? Shackleton wasn't expecting to, nor was Falklands. So people, pick sense out of nonsense, because all of these things, I'm telling you, everything happening in local football right now, there are other motives behind them. Everything. Everything happening in football right now, the frequency of utterances we're hearing from the leaders of our football, it's all indicating to one big motive. We cannot facilitate 16 teams in Jamaica. People, Jamaica have enough footballers to have that level of quality with 16 teams. Let me say it again. Let us not fool ourselves. With people, Jamaica don't have 16 proper facility to facilitate 16 teams. Number one. It's number one. Remember, some man is man are really bright, you know. Some man is man are really bright. Some man is man about Jamaica don't have 480 quality ballers to play in a professional league. 16 teams is 480 footballers. Jamaica football can't pay 240 footballers, much less to pay 480. With no, Jason, we don't have 14 good facility. That is why I think the league should cut down. Hey, people, I think if we had a 10-team league, it would be good and better. But at the same time, I understand that that will have to happen over time. But I like 10 because I think if you have 10 good teams and you have 5 good facilities, that's all right. But when you have 16 teams and 5 good facilities, it's not all right. The spread is too wide. So that's what I'm saying, Jason. What I'm saying, Jason, is that to have 5 good facilities with 14 teams, the spread is not that bad. But when it goes to 16, when you think about the amount of players, listen, we don't have 16 A licensed coaches or B licensed coaches in Jamaica. There are not 16 A licensed coaches in Jamaica. Oh, but of course they're going to say, well, license don't do this. So there are so many factors. How many teams can a parish facilitate? How many teams can, in a Premier League, realistically can Clarendon facilitate? And they all be viable. St. Catherine and they all be viable. St. James and they all be viable. Hanover and they're viable. Westmoreland and they're viable. Trelawney and they are viable. Kingston and St. Andrew and they're all viable. I want someone to come and tell me the team in Jamaica. I just heard recently on a show one of the leaders from Harborview speaking about the club being broke. And you'd want to believe that they are one of the better clubs. You have heard the club with probably right now with the most financial resources say that they have never made a profit ever in the history of operating football in Jamaica. So what is the purpose of increasing it? If it is not profitable and there are no resources, what then is the motive behind it? Is it to get more football being played? I I want the genius. The genius. Because remember, like we on YouTube, we are not bright. We only come on YouTube to mash up Jamaica football. That's what YouTube is, you know. The purpose of YouTube, the man who started YouTube because he heard about Jamaica and he felt like, listen, we need to find a way of all the places in the world, we need to find a way to mash up Jamaica football. So we're going to build a platform called YouTube, and that the sole purpose of that platform is to destroy Jamaica's football. That's what the bright people say. That YouTube will mash up Jamaica football. YouTube come from mash up Jamaica football. So we are not wise. So I want the genius who has come to make Jamaica football better with this 16 team idea to come and tell me, like, to come and tell me, yeah, like, where did he get this from? Yeah, I really want the genius to come and tell me, like, how did they come up with such an idea? You check now. In our leagues, be honest, people. Would you say that there are 8 quality team out of the 14? Tell me the 8 quality team. Like I say, you know what's the team here? Hey, some good team in the JP. Tell me. You know, Dre go and say Harbour View. 1. Unseen go and say Cavaliers and Arnett. Fresh gotta go say Humble Lion. Mannings, I go say Mount Pleasant. My Solomon, I go say Dumby Holden. So that's 6. People going to tell you that Moby ain't ready yet. They're going to tell you that Veer not ready yet. They're going to tell you that, well, some people are going to say Waterhouse because Waterhouse perennially up there. So they will tell us, this season Tivoli not ready. Although Tivoli over the years have been, right? But really and truly, oh yeah, Jesus peace. Hey, Jesus, thank you. Because Brother watch the show. Brother gonna tell us more lines. But when the neutrals look at it, for those who don't support a club, honestly, see Dre saying 6. Give me, I need 10 persons. Assess the league from the games you have seen. If you were to rate the team out of 10, how many teams you would say you'd give them 6 and more? How many teams? And I'm not saying this to disrespect the league and disrespect people and disrespect the footballers. Honestly, I respect what has been done for football. I watch and I support the football. But a lot of the teams not ready. A lot of the teams not ready. And when you talk about, see it, I mean, I want the people in the football to understand that even in our highest league, most of the people don't believe that there are more than 4 quality teams. When you talk about organization, salary, play, all of those things, just the complete operation of the teams. And this is over a period of time. And if you say, okay, let's see outside of these teams, which other teams are there that are not in the league? All right. Big up Portmore United Ultras. Until we can compete with the top CONCACAF clubs in the region, I wouldn't say we have a no good. That's a good one, and this is a Portmore man. Big up, big up, Brian. Yeah, so this is the next good one. Bundesliga only have 18 teams in their top flight. Who are we to think we can have 16? Yeah, maybe we should check some of the leagues. You understand me and see. Um, because I cannot understand. That's why remember, people. Remember the only purpose of YouTube, is to mash up Jamaica football. But you have some genius who know what Jamaica's football need. You understand me? So I am calling on those geniuses to come and explain to the people who are on YouTube mashing up Jamaica football. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports Scholar.
Yo, boss, all gone.
Yeah, man. Good day. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
What say you?
Today I listened to the whole thing about having 16 team in Jamaican League. But me always try to ask genuine question because I'm kind of closer to the league than me, isn't it? But is it impossible or close to impossible having 16 teams in a league? Can it work with having proper investment? And when I mean investment, I'm not talking in just monetarily. I'm also talking investment of players, meaning you have overseas players, or there's a limit on persons who can come from overseas and play locally in Jamaica. You get what I mean? So that's what I was looking at. Why? Because I'm always for persons wanting to improve a league or improve the way things are in football. But in order to improve it, then you must have the viable things to improve it, whether it be investment, whether it be players, whether it be facilities. You know what I mean? Because with all these three things, can the league be better? Or can it be bigger than just the 14 that it has? Which and minor. Really and truly, I think some of the teams are not good enough, not just players, but also the coaching wise. I don't think it's good enough. It can be much better. Knowing that people see Jamaica on the outside, me tell you, people see Jamaica like up here. Like a lot of persons want to play in Jamaica. I get what I mean? But is it impossible though?
All right. So let me give you my thoughts. So number one, I personally, and this is people, as you know, this is opinion based because everybody has
Yeah,
a right
yeah.
to their opinion. All right. So I believe that based on the quality of surfaces available, the quality of players available, the quality of coaches available, the support for football in Jamaica, the fact that we don't have masses of people outside of Jamaica coming into the league, that ideally our league should be kept at 10 teams. And we would find it more.
All right.
Uh,
All right.
go ahead.
Yeah. Really, the influx of people. Are we talking about coaches and players and investors, or is it just players, or what? What are we talking when you say influx of people?
When I didn't hear that, go again.
No, I said when you say having like an influx of people coming to Jamaica, is it you're talking about influx of players
Yeah, man. So
or
for
influx of
example, if
investors?
we
Okay.
had like players from Central America, South America, the Caribbean coming into the league, quality players, what that means is that you'd have a bigger pool of player
bigger pool.
Right. So that means that, of course, it will
Yeah.
challenge the league. Now you could say, listen, we are not dependent predominantly on Jamaican players. Not only that, our league is not good enough to retain our top players. Most of our better players, after a year maximum in our league, they go away. So what we see
Mm.
in Jamaica is our second tier players. And so with those factors, I believe the wiser thing to do is to start with 10, make it viable and sustainable. Start bringing in quality from outside of Jamaica to strengthen those teams. When that begins to get more competitive, financial investment and the spread and the brand of the league will increase. Then after that, maybe more people who want to invest. You can add more teams. I don't think we
But
should go because I don't. Go ahead. Let me hear.
do do you think that there are players out there who don't want to play in Jamaica?
I think there are players who want to play in Jamaica, but there's no
There are
money
a
to
lot
pay
of
them to
players
come.
who want to play in Jamaica.
But there's no.
All right, and that's why it brings me back to investment, to in terms of having investors. And this is also a matter of the teams themselves, the hierarchy in the team, that they have a responsibility to find investors to invest in their team. Get what I mean? Not just the JFF to help with, because the JFF can only do so much and so much, since they have their own troubles to deal with. I'm
No,
saying
no man.
this is their job to have a proper managing team.
No, so I am
Right.
saying to you, I am listen. I am not putting this on the JFF. I'm not telling you the JFF need to.
No, not at all.
What I am saying, the clubs need to do that. So we cannot do increase the numbers. Basically saying, okay, it's not our fault. So just increase the number to 16 because the clubs need to go and do. No, the clubs cannot do it. They don't have the capacity to do it. A lot of these clubs they don't operate with a proper structure. There is no. I will tell you, a lot of these players in our league, they don't have proper medical insurance.
Mm,
They don't have
yeah.
proper ways of getting consistent salaries. There is no proper contract with legal counsel as a part of it. So there are many things
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the whole infrastructure and the systems in the football that I think we need to take time to work on. And then, because if you have 10 teams, imagine if you had 10 teams and each team had like 4 players from the Caribbean or from outside of Jamaica. Even that will make the league
Yeah.
better. So having 16 teams, to me, hurts the brand more because the same players who you'd probably get from the Caribbean would end up going to the same teams if you had 10 teams.
All right. Let me understand clearly now. So you're saying now that in the state as it is now, having 16 teams would make sense. In the state it is right now.
Right now, yeah.
Right now. So in order for that, so you're not ruling out that this thing cannot change if the proper things are not into the thing, right?
Yeah, man, the thing, it can change. I am saying, yeah, man, listen, I'm up for it to even, if we can afford it at some point and all the things are in place, to go to even 20, like the Premier League, if you want to. But right now,
As
I
it is.
I run football, all right, because I just had to pull away from because of other response. But when you check even, you see the second tier teams, I will guarantee you, like if they said to half of the teams no in the second tier, come and play in the
Yeah.
Premier League tomorrow, they don't have the necessary things in
Mm-hmm.
place. I feel like in
Understood.
England, for example, you could stop the championship tomorrow, and the seventh
Mm-hmm.
place team would have everything in place to play in the Premier League. In Jamaica, I don't think many of our second tiers team right now have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
have the necessary system in place to even play. Like I said, it's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, but really and truly, all right, you see that you brought in the whole England thing. I believe it's unfair. I think it's an unfair. What you call it? I think
Comparison.
it's really unfair to really call. Yes, I think it's really unfair. Get what I mean? Because now we're going to look at budget size for these
All right.
lower league, maybe
So
League One Championship.
all right. Give me a
It is
place.
vast,
Give
man.
me a place where you think like, okay, let's compare Jamaica with this place.
I would just have to compare it to the region because it's difficult to compare it with the states because really and truly the states in terms of the US federation, these guys budget is like over $90 million.
All right.
So
So
really it is really unfair to compare these places who have budget who
so
crazy
you
budget.
think Costa
You
Rica
get me?
would be
I
a
will have
good
to compare it to
do
the
you know
region.
that you think Costa Rica would be a good comparison?
Well, for those persons who are in CONCACAF who probably closer to Jamaica,
All right.
it is possible to have comparison with these places.
All right. So you know how many teams are in the Costa Rican League?
No, you have to tell me right now.
All right. So all right. So in the Costa Rican League right now, all right? This is Costa Rica.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
12 teams.
12 teams. Okay. Yeah.
All right. And I think the Costa Rican League is way more organized than us. They have a lot of players outside of Costa Rica, even Jamaicans that plays
Yeah.
here. All right.
Yes.
Their teams performs better in the CONCACAF Champions League. Costa Rica
Yeah.
themselves are ranked higher than us, and
All right.
they have less teams. So
All right. Let me just
yeah.
bring this up a little bit then.
Mhm.
All right. Because now we can compare. The Costa Rican in terms of square miles, in terms of size. I'm not sure if it's bigger than Jamaica. Yeah. In terms of size, we're talking about population. If it's bigger than Jamaica, they have way more player pool. No, you talk about foreign players. Do we know if Costa Rica have a cap on foreign players like Jamaica? I'm sure Jamaica have cap on foreign players now. That they probably only allow 4 or 5. Really and truly. Which that can probably improve. If you really want the league to be better, then you have to make it a little bit bigger in terms of cap size.
Costa Rica population is almost 6 million, double Jamaica.
Yeah, no, you get what I mean now. No, you get what I mean. You will have way more quality because you have a bigger pool.
But I'm saying to you, but
You
they
get what
have
I mean?
less teams than Jamaica is proposing to have.
That is true, and they probably have a weight in there, a tier 2 that is even better than probably our tier 1. Really and truly. You get what I mean? But it is not impossible, and as I say, in the state as it is now, I would also decline it. In the state it is right now. You get what I mean?
Okay, so
Because take for Switzerland.
Carla, we say the same thing then, man.
No, we are saying the same thing, but I am always optimistic that things can be better. That is just me.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
Okay,
But
okay.
if I look at even Switzerland management, they have 10 teams, in their league.
Yeah.
10 teams. You get what I mean? And they're able to play 30 a game. You see me? And if you look at probably Rangers, as I said, I won't compare in terms of money and all of these things. We're just looking at probably quality and these type of stuff. You get what I mean? But they with these countries, Costa Rica, the Scotland and the Switzerland, these guys allow maybe more than 4 foreign players to join the league. So it also helps to raise the quality of the league. Jamaica probably needs to look at it now and say maybe with 14 teams, can we have more foreign players coming into our league? That simply means that you're going to need some more money. You get what I mean? So the teams them now need to go and get some proper investment.
That is why if they're not, that is why you can't. In other words, if you have $10,000 as an example, hypothetically speaking, there's $10,000 available in the entire Jamaica. If you have 10 teams going after that $10,000, each team can get $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you have 16 teams going after the 10,000, it changes. It means that their money available to each team gets significantly
minimal.
Right. $625. The point I am making is that the only way the teams will have more resources to go and do some of the things that we need to do is if there are less teams and they are forced to operate at a higher level of management and structurally. In other words, I think the challenge should be to change the structure of the clubs to make them more viable instead of changing the number of the clubs in the league. In other words, I think the
Well,
biggest
one what?
effort in
Yeah, go ahead.
football should be, all right, let's
Yeah,
take our top 10 teams and make them better than trying to get more teams in our leagues to make the league
yeah.
better.
No, as I said, in the state it is right now, that make a lot of sense to me personally. Makes a lot of sense. You get what I mean? But one of the things, in order for us to solve this, because me and you go just discuss a lot of hypotheticals and all of these business. You see me? We have to get the person who is in charge. We have to get them in a one on your panel where we can ask a question and we can get some better answers.
I call me
You
and
get
tell,
what I mean?
listen, you see
So
the
we
people
need the person.
sometimes the thing
Yeah,
is the people who say these things don't come on these programs. A lot of times they speak where they cannot be questioned.
yeah,
Look at somebody putting up this, for example. They said that Panama GDP, thank you, Kyle, per capita is 14K. Costa Rica is 12K. Jamaica is 5.5K. They have a stronger economy to support 12 teams. Panama
yeah.
and Costa Rica, and they have 12. Jamaica don't
Mm.
have the economy to support 10 teams,
I want
and we want to
16.
go to 16. This
Right,
is
yeah,
this is what
they
I
have
need
a plan
somebody
that
to come
we
on.
don't know about.
Yeah, I need somebody to
They
come and
have a plan that
explain.
we don't know about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need somebody to come and explain, like, what are the logical, realistic benefits to moving it to 16. Like maybe it makes sense, and you and I can't understand.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just saying. But let me just finish, just go on this and then I'll just finish because maybe other persons want to get on. But if people talk about the top teams, they're saying maybe top six or something like that. They're probably six proper teams, they're saying. But really and truly, youth, because I watch the game them every week, youth. When I have the one time at home, I am watching the games every week. Mannings, man, the coaches can be so much better, way better. Even for those who say they have a B license, brother, it can be so much better. Because when I watch these games, oh my God, like maybe the way I see it, because I coach likewise.
Yeah.
And the way I see these guys playing, I said there's no way we can say, quote unquote, the quality that we have. You see me? And I'm saying the quality that you have in your country, and you guys are playing like this? Hell no. You get what I mean? When I watch the game, so I probably just turn on the TV because what I am looking for, it is not there. And I'm saying these guys who have B license and whatever license they have, man, the execution is poor sometimes. You know, the teams play and all it is poor. You see me? Which can be better, but maybe that's another topic. Yo, thanks for bringing me on for your program.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Every time. All right. Respect. That's what the call as
Bye.
usual. Yeah, man. All right. So, people, you can also share your thoughts. You understand me? I do believe that things can change, that things can improve, and when the facts change, my opinion change. Right now, the facts presented to me, says that Brian, you run a team. Brian, do you find 14 teams in the league to be viable? Right? Because I believe if we are 10 clubs getting better, then what would happen is down the road, the model used by those 10 clubs could be expanded to other clubs to build them up to get them to the place. The thing is, like the people who say these things and want them to happen, they're not going to talk to the people who are going to ask them the tough questions. Because we have to remember, people, there are people who believe that. So we have a caller. Welcome to the show. The man getting all the beating today, Mr. JPL himself.
Yeah, yeah. Afternoon, morning.
Good afternoon, sir. Talk to me. Give us your opinion
Um,
and your solution and our discussion.
you were asking if I think that 14 teams is viable. Um, I have my own thoughts on that and the whole ordeal, which I don't wish to say publicly. But I mean, the people that have the responsibility to make the Premier League, to market the Premier League, and to deal with the financial and commercial aspects of the league, they are saying it's not viable. So, I don't know. I would like to think that they would be in the best position to determine if the league is, if the amount of teams that are allowed in the league, how viable it is. And they are saying that they want the league to have less teams than is presently there. So I don't know if adding other teams to that is really the solution. I think at the start of the season, all teams are operating on the premise that this season you will have 2 teams being relegated. So I'm not too sure where the whole no relegation talk is coming from now.
So hold on,
All the
Brian.
media houses
Hold on, Brian. Did you say at the start of the season it was clearly stated that there'll be relegation and promotion?
I'm not going to say it was clearly stated, but I know for a fact that, well, let me not say no for a fact.
If you say
I
it's
know
a
that
fact,
all the teams were operating on the premise
okay.
that this season you will have relegation.
Okay, so teams are operating under the premise that there will be relegation. So when
because
did that
it is my understanding that the JFF would have said they were going to have 2 seasons of no relegation for the Premier League and for the Tier 2. And I think the Premier League would have had their 2 no relegation seasons. And I think this is the second no relegation season for the Tier 2 teams. So I don't know if that's where the miscommunication or the misunderstanding is coming from, but certainly it was my understanding that this season you will have 2 teams being relegated.
Okay.
And even if you listen to the rhetoric and stuff, even the 2 teams that are in that position now, even when you watch the games and you hear the coaches do interviews and stuff, they are always referencing the fact that they want to get out of relegation place or position, etc.
The Brazilian at Chopperton Maroons left because the team is relegated. That was the premise of them leaving.
Yes, it was. So I don't know. I mean, it's quite strange because the person that is making these assertions are stating these facts in his own words. Is the vice president who's in charge of competition. So I would like to think that the person with responsibility for competition, I mean, should be quite okay with the rules and regulations that govern the competition. So, yeah.
So from my sources, there was a meeting yesterday, which is kind of strange, where Mr. Chris Williams was again asking for the league to go down to 10. In the night, on one of our stations, I heard the 16 things come up. So it's, let me ask you something. All the clubs in the tier 1 will get a vote, or the top 4?
So it's my understanding that the top 4 men and women's teams will have, I think, half a vote or 2 votes. I'm not even sure, but something to that effect.
I need to talk to, because Rudolph Speed is saying that team get relegated. That's what Rudolph Speed said. Rudolph Speed was on this program and said Chapelton is already relegated. Falkland is going to be relegated because it's going to be very difficult for them to get up to Mobile United. And then the next person in the JFF is saying that there is no relegation. Both of them names start with R, you know. Raymond and Rudolph. We need to talk to one of you.
Yeah, man. So it's quite an interesting situation, but who knows? Let's see, you know, eventually.
But what I want to ask though, Brian, do you believe, and this is just your opinion, I know you're in a position, do you believe that the option of playing 16 teams in the league, given the present conditions that you experience when it is 14, it would be good, bad, can work, or can't work. What is your take?
The latter. The latter. I don't think it can work based on the current construct. Not the construct, but just the variable that exists in the current Premier League.
Yeah, because I know some teams struggle this season financially, even getting monies that they're supposed to get monthly. I know two teams that I've spoken to directly that had struggles paying their players because some of the monies promised they didn't get on time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the truth is, though, the money, that's always been the cry of clubs, even from the days of the PLCA. But I think the PFJL now, it has gotten a lot better, but there's work that needs to be done to make it, what you'd say, closer to perfect, but it has gotten better though.
All right, I don't know, man. I don't know. This all of this thing is not making the same organization, and there are different messages, different messages coming out. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, like, why all of this at this time? And is there bigger things at play in this? Because I find it strange that this is coming out on the back of them recently having a board meeting where I'd want to believe that these things would. Well, you know what? I don't know what goes on at board meetings, but I want to believe that things of this sort are discussed at a board meeting. So there is one voice when they speak. If a statement is going to go out on the league at this critical juncture and you had a board meeting, wouldn't those things have been discussed at the board meeting to say this is where we're going?
Um, I would like to think so as well, but you never know. But that's my 2 cents. I'll continue to listen and give somebody else a chance.
Yeah, man. All right. Thanks for calling in. All right. My brother in the background. Remember, we're trying to create a multi-million-dollar brand. We presently see no cameras on. We would like to see your camera on to keep the content, at a certain quality. Is it possible for you to turn your camera on, my brother? Or send, let me see. Uh, me a Trilio beer? What is that? Trilio beer? What? Camera will come on in 2 minutes. All right. There you go. All right. So, all right. The camera will come on in 2 minutes. Let us invite Mr. Ketterock.
Yeah, no, I have somebody in the place, so that's why a couple workman quick, so then I never want that on camera. But they finish in 2 minutes. But Manins,
They say that there are a couple of workmen in your place.
yeah, man, I'm
Them
gonna
are
fix up
fix.
for
Okay.
you. Listen, I'm saying that this is a ticklish thing, right? And I think sometime we need to say these things for emphasis. West Midlands, Birmingham, has a population of over 3 million, larger than Jamaica. It currently supports four major professional teams. Birmingham City in the championship, West Bromwich Albion in the championship, that goes up and down sometime, and Aston Villa in the Premier League. Walsall in League One, right? We have the same population. No, we're not talking about money. We're talking about issues of professionalism. No, it doesn't take money to communicate properly and better. It does not. No, everybody from Timbuktu to the North Pole with Santa Claus and his reindeers know that the bottom 3 teams in England get relegated. The 2 teams in the championship get promoted. The next 4 go to a playoff. It is impossible for a professionally run organization to have a miscommunication. Those things, managed, don't cost money. They cost professionalism and transparency. And so, at the base of what I believe, Jamaica doesn't have the resources nor the population to support more than 4 clubs, to be quite honest with you. In order to get a catchment of a sufficient 10,000 people or 5,000 persons per day, game day, turning out in the stands, paying customers. Don't. And so if we start on that premise, the league is a non-starter, right? I have listened to you because you know me and your reason already about different things. I'm gonna say to you, I can listen and take in a point and change. I was of the view that we should have had 20 teams in two leagues. But I believe we're starting from the wrong premise. We need to define what is a professional club in Jamaica. And when we put down those stipulations, we will see who can make it and who can't make it without friend or favor. So for me, a professional club, you must have a senior men's team. You must have a women's senior team. You must have a under 20 team. You must have a under 17 team. And you must have a girls under 20 or under 17.
Yeah.
As a club structure. Now, who can manage that? Shut your doors, leave the league. Clubs shut their doors all the time in England. At least one club go out of business in England every year because they just cannot manage. And guess what? Football is still being played. They still make it to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. So it's not inimical or detrimental. It is the business of, because football is deemed as a business. Jamaica, the maximum that we can have is 15 professional teams manning. That is 1 team per parish. Maximum 1 team per parish. Professional club. I'm not talking about the amateur or grassroots football, Sunday league as they call it, pub league as they call it in England, corner league, kickabout. We're talking about professional football, the maximum. And for me, you divide those into 2, a Premier League and a championship. I don't know why we're making up tier 2. Who know what tier 2 is? When you're marketing, you have to mark the people who you're marketing to. Sponsors have to understand. What do they understand? They understand the big leagues or England, which is a Premier League and Championship, or they understand League 1 and League 2. That we understand around the world.
Yeah.
You could put 8 teams in your Premier League and 7 in your Championship. Have 1 team relegated per year, 1 team automatically promoted. And the second place team in the Championship play off with the second place, is the lowest second to last team in the Premier League for that second spot. And we have our football good. Sorry if Dre, anyway, if Harborview don't make the cut, put up all your jersey.
You know what I'd love to know, Cataract? Because I want to use some indicators to measure. Like, all right, so maybe they need to have, like I said, like, I believe you and I are on the same page. We may be communicating differently, but we're on the same page on this. Because I think what should happen is that there are indicators to determine whether you're professional or amateur, all right, or grassroots. Maybe have those 3 categories. And one of the indicators is what is your average attendance? Because no club can be sustainable if the average home attendance to your game is below a certain amount. Because which sponsor is going to sponsor you, all right, if there's no fans following you? And what amount of fans will make that profitable, all of those things. Not only that, the TV deals that they have is a one-time payment. So, for example, the TV deal, if the TV people make $1 trillion today, the rights were already sold for $1 million. No matter what they do with the um with the product, because the product is not really owned by the TV deal person. So other people can also play it with the permission of the league. So it does say to you that the very TV deal need to be restructured, which is where a lot of the bigger leagues get a lot of their resources from. So that means then it is the structuring of the system that needs to be fixed more than, like I said, adding more team. And I'm willing to say there may come a time when more teams can be added. Maybe down the road we get an influx of players all over coming in because the league is so competitive and Jamaica football is doing so well. You have 30, 40 people from over the Caribbean and Central America and Asia. You even get some more Africans coming in to play in the league and all of those things. All right? And then you can say, wow, we it's a 50-50 split, 50 homegrown player, 50 overseas player with the 10 teams. Why not add a couple more teams so we can get more homegrown players in the league? I think like stuff like that can be done. I don't know, but there has to be some level, some indicators. But I see Boss Thomas asking you a question, Cataract. He says, Cataract, do you know the reason why there's only 14 teams playing in EPL 2 when we have 20 EPL teams?
Okay. No, there's not 14 teams playing. They play in two zones. So there are 28 teams that play. They are broken into two zones.
Oh, that's why I was wondering if there's 14 EPL.
No, man, they're 28. Teams who have been relegated from the Premier League still retain their status in the developmental league. So Norwich is in the league. West Brom is in the league, even though they are not. Those are two that come to mind. But for example, Brentford, they came into the Premier League, they didn't have an academy. They opened an academy in September, otherwise they'd have been out of the league. And what they did simply enough was they went around and looked for every player that was cut from an academy in and around London and just brought them in.
Oh.
Yeah. So but it's not publicized, but people know you can't be in the Premier League and not part of the developmental strategic plan, which is that you must have a developmental squad and an academy squad, and on the 18 squad, which they call it. They don't it's a business decision to go below that age, right? But you must participate in the PL2 and you must participate in the under 18. But maybe they don't. I didn't think they enforce it because maybe a team might come up and go back down the next year and you force him to make a big expenditure. But Brentford has a team now in the PL2, but it's not in the developmental squad, but they play in the academy team is ranked as at level 4 academy. Right, because there's certain things. But you are correct, Mannings, in terms of your gate receipts to retain your Premier League structure. No, I know you can't just bring things wholesale from another country and apply it here because you have some nuances. Some man I go say, boy, in a Kingston, the whole of East Kingston, from you leave the part that's a socialist, and from you go west, them are labor, right? How it go manage for everybody all right and go up on one match day and support one team. The truth is, you have some of these issues in Birmingham, for example, right? Where I can speak to where you have major or even in London, Brixton and Peckham are at war. perennially, but when a football time, everybody find themselves up at Crystal Palace. Because guess what? They can't go down a Millwall as a black man and have your bones. So you are correct, man. It has to be looked at strategically. Football is sustained by the broadcasting rights. You are 1,100% correct. That's where the real money comes in. And those broadcast rights have to be sold outside of Jamaica, the diaspora. If our 3 million Jamaicans in the diaspora are not watching the game, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how, like, I don't understand. I don't understand. So here's like, professional clubs are not designed for social influence. Manchester City, the owners of Manchester City, didn't buy it because they want to cause social change in the city of Manchester. When 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 the Crankies bought Arsenal, became major shareholders. They didn't do that because they're saying, boy, too many knives things happening in London, so let's do social. That's not what professional clubs do. That's probably grassroots to capture young youths and those things. Professional clubs are set up to be profit making businesses. All right. So what drives the resources to those businesses? TV rights, gates, those things. So I can't understand, like, every time we talk about football, we hear about the social impact of it. That's not for a man. A man, listen, when for example, the Chinese are coming into Jamaica to build and buy things, they are not trying to come here to concern themselves with our crime rate. They're coming here to concentrate and put in more money in their pockets. No, the crime rate may reduce because of that. But that is not the reason why they come here. It is to
So,
make money. People
so
that
man,
invest in money to stop crime, they invest in money. That is a government job.
football is a business. As a corporate entity, you have some corporate social responsibilities. I can speak to Aston Villa. Yeah, she retired now. Um, just had some surgery on her knee and thing. But my cousin was the director in charge of Aston Pride, which is the social aspect of Aston Villa, which means they go into the communities around Aston, Nichels, um, those places. I think I don't go as far as Erdington, but some other places, and they do social work. They give away football boots. They invite youngsters who are at risk to come and meet with players who have made it out of the ghetto and those things, right? They contribute to the anti-drug initiatives and the suicide line and those things. But they don't put them to play in Aston Villa first team
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that you can eat a food because you live on the estate round a one part of Handsworth. No, sir.
Yeah. So that is
They,
my
they may give, they may
exactly.
give some free tickets or they may give a ticket to some youngsters to come and watch the game and those things. But the business is the business of football. We're not going to
Here's the
disagree
biggest
today.
thing, here's the biggest thing that what will happen is, I believe, imagine again, let's look at the if you had 10 teams and say, for example, Tivoli Gardens were one of those teams in the 10, and they had, say, 10 players from overseas. All right? um, that would change the culture for a whole probably things. So they had like Costa Ricans and Hondurans and Panamanians and Trinidadians, living in the community and interacting professional football. Watch this. The people down there are being paid. That's a house being rented. That when I think about that is where the the social impact will be because of the economic opportunities being presented by the football. And I think that is how we have to. How can we make whatever team it is, Waterhouse, Tivoli, Harborview, so sustainable and profitable as a business that no business will want to be established out there without contributing. For example, why hasn't the airport out by the east supported the football club out in the east? Why hasn't the airport in Montego Bay supported any of the clubs in Montego Bay? And we're not hearing you.
Because they're irrelevant. And when people sit down around the boardroom, they are making business decisions. They are not coming on, I am sure, sports and saying, boy, because a man have to eat a food and have to bust a youth. No, they are making business decisions around the boardroom. And my final thing before I know the erstwhile Mr. Speed has joined us. Look here, Fresh God. Thank you for bringing us back to where we are, which is always at a point of war. Maybe you don't understand marketing. One of the things in marketing is consistency, right? When a man buys a red stripe, he's expecting that fat buckle. Remember red stripe, they try a thing where them they put red stripe in a slim buckle and they have to run away from that. Because when a man buy a red stripe, he's expecting a buckle at this height, at this thing. If it's the championship, call it the championship. When I came to Jamaica, I know about major league and minor league. Now I don't know what the equivalent is. If you keep changing your packaging, you confuse the marketplace, sir. And accept that. When you go wherever you're going in the world, it's called a burger. It's called a quarter pounder. A burger. It's not called beef meat between two bread. It's called a burger. And people know what it is. They know what a Happy Meal is. They know what a big deal is. It's 3 pieces of chicken and fries. And the same has to happen with football in Jamaica. Consistency in marketing so that people can take up the product.
Fresh graduate, not even cement company support half of you. I need to ask some of them why the
Yeah,
business is
but
in these places.
why would you support something that has that on a weekly basis, on a match day, can't get 1,000 people in there? So my brand can be seen by more than 1,000 people.
All right,
Or
Mr. Speed.
on television, the Premier League on television, I would like to know some of those numbers, the viewership numbers estimated. I wonder if Mr. Speed could shed some light on that.
Well, we're gonna ask him the easier question first before we get into the hard one. Mr. Speed, welcome to the show. Good afternoon. Thanks for
Good
joining us.
afternoon. Thank you for having me, boss.
We're beginning to wonder if there's anybody who talk to us today because this
About
has
what?
well, because Mr. Speed, we don't think like 16 teams should play in our league, and we're gonna riot about it. And we hear last night that no team will be relegated, and the and no and 2 teams will be promoted. When we can't even sustain 14 teams, so we want to know what kind of decision this. I'll get messages that Chris Williams is opposed it, Talk to Mr. Rudolph Speed because he's the one proposing this 16 team thing. See, here we have it on my phone. We can't understand me. And the silence is deafening.
Oh, so yeah, me see somebody as usual in love tell lies on me. So me just. But if everybody want to know the truth, them just need to come here and hear me say it out of my mouth.
All right.
And one thing me learn in life, somebody tell me once, say if nobody not talk about you, you're really not anybody. You cease to exist. It's like you don't exist. So
Cataract, you don't exist, boy.
now they talk about cataract. So I
The
mean,
only person left to talk about me is Pretty Dan.
Yeah, brother. The way you call that name for me show, boss, we can't manage. So do not even mention the name.
so let me just explain what all this 16 team come about. And it's not really 16 team was the basis of my development in the country. So let me just go through all this amount, the expansion in our professional league come about. So when we got the CONCACAF report for 2019, they match up us against all the other teams in the confederation. So it's a report that we get and then grade us as to how we're doing with women football, youth football, senior football, professional league, all of those referees, all of those things. So we have the gradings, right? So when we go through it, when we look deep down in the report, we saw that countries like Mexico had 10,000 professional players. The US have like 2,900. And now they're over 3,000 now. They're moving up. Costa Rica like 1,200. A lot of countries, they have much more professional players. We were listed of having 360 professional players. So when we did that deep dive in
Hold on, let me just ask you. And these 360 professional players are players in Jamaica?
Yeah, they were in Jamaica. At the time, we had about 90 playing outside of Jamaica. Well, I think that was how the report
so we had really 90. That means we have 200 and what that now? 200 and...
yeah, I don't remember the exact figure, but we were somewhere there, right? I think we had 90. The thing was very detailed, right? So when we look at it from our technical committee, we say, well, we're having issues here because when we look at the 200 odd players that we had in Jamaica, it was really saying that like was only about 20 out of each team was playing. The rest wasn't really playing, although they were registered. We were registered like 35 each some of the time. And when we look at it and look at the age group, the national coach was looking at more than half of those players. The national coach was not looking at them. So really and truly, we were down to less than 100 effective players that the national coaches were looking at. Of that 100, you expect those teams to feel under 20, under 23, and senior team, the ones local senior team players. So you basically was picking. If you look at the requirements for all those three teams and you say there was 30, all of these players was compulsory. They were going to be in our team, whether their performance was up, down, or indifferent. So what we did was to say we had to come up with a method that will have more talented players playing at a certain level. So that is why we devised the tier 1 and the tier 2. So we said, why between the two of those, we want to have 30 teams, at least 30 teams, roughly. Because what that would give us is 900 players, 30 times 30 would give us 900 players to kind of choose from. What we also said in that case was we put in some rules that said each team must have at least 8 players under the age of 21 in their squad, just to try and urge them to go young. The Premier League clubs at the time said in a letter to the JFF, there is a written letter that said, don't relegate anybody for 2 years and increase the teams up to 16. Don't relegate anybody from the Premier League. So instead of us spending these monies and trying to avoid relegation, let us now go to 16 team and we can go to younger players. So we'll create new stars. Because at the end of the day, there's no way we're going to sustain ourselves unless we're selling players overseas. It's not going to be just playing now professional league out here and making the revenue. So that was the letter that was sent to the JFF, signed by the then acting chairman of the Professional Football Jamaica Limited, that is what we want. It was discussed at every level in the JFF, and we agreed to grant the Premier League a MOU, which we did provide significant funding to each team, and say, yes, go and go renovate your team, rejuvenate your teams, build back from the scratch, because there's no fear of regulation. We did give the Premier League teams them over $2 million each and say, see, you ask for this, see some money here after COVID, go and go do nothing, build back a stack of youths, young players that the country can don't leave any talent behind. Basically, that's what we told them. In addition, we decided that we're going to go with club licensing. We established the coaching school, and we say, we want Ali to come to the coaching school because we want to improve the quality of coaching in Jamaica. We say you have to have a club license because we wanted to improve the quality of the clubs in Jamaica. We introduced a tier 2. So instead of us having 300 teams every year trying to come to Premier League, we narrow it down to only 12 teams. So we said make the teams them get better. So it was a whole comprehensive rearrangement, alignment of the football in Jamaica. And everybody signed off on it and said, yes, we're ready to go with it. Now, there's a couple things happening. The pandemic, as I said, The first year, there was no tier 2 competition, so nobody could get promoted to Premier League.
Which
The
was
second,
2019
no, 2020.
when Cavaliers won the league.
Yeah, there was no tier 2, so
Right. So
nobody could get promoted.
no team got promoted.
Right. So we did sign off on the 16 Premier League team and 18 tier 2 team, you know. That was supposed to be with creme de la creme of football teams in Jamaica. Right?
Okay.
We did sign off on it. Everybody signed off on it. Yeah. So 16 Premier League and 18 tier 2. That was what everybody signed off on. Right? But we also said that the tier 2, there'll be no relegation in the first 2 years. So they can develop too. Remember, it's an ambitious project, but England have 100 teams in the professional ranks. We said we are trying to go to 30. That was what we said. I mean, Mexico have 100 professional teams, too, but I mean, we're expected to compete against those teams, so we have to do something. So we are saying we could go for quality of 30, and not everybody can come up Premier League. So that was always everybody signed up. Now, the first year, there was no tier 2. So nobody got promoted.
That's 2021.
2020, there was no tier 2.
2020.
No major league, no league. No league was played to promote anybody.
That was the year when you didn't participate in the league, so you had one team short.
11 teams was playing football in Jamaica.
All right. Cavaliers won that year.
Yeah, we introduced the tier 2 with 14 teams.
The tier 2 started when?
2021.
2021.
And it's not 14 teams, 12 teams, I think. 12 teams.
Yeah, because Rita didn't participate.
Right.
And no Cassava team participated.
Cassava didn't pass. So
Yeah.
12 teams play. 2 teams was promoted. Sorry, the first year when you will drop out, when we played the next year, 1 team came up, which was Mobi. There was supposed to be a playoff between Mobi and Wadada. Remember?
Right.
And Mobi came up and carried back to 12.
Yeah.
Then the next year, so nobody was relegated the first year. Then the next year, nobody was relegated from
Was there a year played when there was 11 teams?
Yes, the first year is 11 teams. You didn't play.
That was the year when Cavaliers won.
Yes.
Right. The following year, the second year, no, there was no tier 2, so Mobi came up. Right.
Yes.
All right.
Then last year, there was a tier 2 and 2 team came up. And so we got to 14 because we kept our word. Don't relegate the team. Make the Premier League team them build them infrastructure, build them rejuvenate their clubs with young, fresh talent, right? So 2 teams came up and it came to 14. Now, 14 is where it is now. The regulation was done to say 2 will go down this year and 2 will come up next year. So it is going to be 14 teams for the 2023-2024 season, not 16. And we would have kept our word, the JFF, to the clubs that we're not relegating anybody for 2 years. We did not say 3 years. Our word was 2 years. So that is what what is right now. And also in the regs for the tier 2, it is said that 2 will come up. So it is not true that there will be 16 teams next year. There will be 14 teams next year, and the two teams will get relegated from this year competition.
Okay.
Were
the teams aware of relegation before the season?
Yes, there's a thing we call rules and regulation that was sent to every club, every single club.
At the beginning of the season?
Yes, and the board approved it. The JFF board approved it. It was up.
And in the 2022-2023 rules and regulation, it said there will be relegation and there will be...
I'm going to send it to you right now.
Yes.
I'll send it to you right now. The excerpts.
Yeah.
So,
see it there on your WhatsApp. So anybody who tell anything else just dishonest, and then I mean, unless it's a mistake.
Am I allowed to show this and read it?
Of course, a public knowledge.
All right, so people. So all right, go ahead, Ketara, because I see Brady is asking
I just wanted to ask if whether. So, are you expecting that you're based on two varying pronouncements from within the JFF, including one by a board member, and probably the most senior board member, that this matter could be tested in court because based on the public ambiguity, right? And I know this doesn't fall in your remit, but the lack of a JFF website that has these things published in plain sight for everybody to see and know, that are you expecting either one of the affected clubs to take this matter to court and try and test it?
No, you can't go no court. I just gave the rules. It clear that was circulated to every all of the clubs them before the competition start. That's why we have regulation.
Yeah, so let me read this. It says the regulations for the 2022-2023 Jamaica Premier League regulate the rights, duties, responsibilities of all clubs taking part, the regulation and guidelines, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you the teams. All right. At the end of the season, 2 teams will be relegated. The top 2 teams from the 2022-2023 Tier 2 teams will be promoted to the 2023-2024 JPL. Okay. So yeah, it is clear there. So they got this at the beginning of the competition. That the fall.
Martin,
Go ahead.
read that line about relegation. Did it say 2 teams or did it say the bottom 2 teams?
It says at the end of the 2 teams will be relegated. The top 2 teams, and then it says the top 2 teams from the tier 2 will be promoted.
No. I'm asking about relegation. Did it say it? So it did not say the bottom 2 teams.
No, it didn't say the bottom 2 teams. I don't understand the question, Keter, but is it only the bottom 2 teams?
You don't understand the question?
No, explain to me what is it. Explain to me the ambiguity in the line, because it seems like you're trying to say it is not specific to who would be relegated.
No,
Yes.
I say it should be Arnett and Cavalier at the top. Should be
No. I'm saying, and I am looking at the EPL, and the EPL says the 18th, 19th, and 20th place teams will be relegated.
Yeah, it does say that.
It could be specific. It could be specific.
So,
but we know still. We know still.
Cataract wants to send on the top 2 teams.
I don't think that is what he said, though.
No, because it could be that there is a relegation playoff, and I'm being serious now. It could be that we have a top 6 playoff for promotion. You see, in the lack of specificity or in the absence of specificity,
right, because it doesn't say.
And when somebody muddies the water, someone could say, well, okay, I thought there was going to be a bottom place, like in Argentina, there's a clausura and an apertura, right?
Cataract, what I think they could say is that, listen, we were not told that it is the 2 bottom place team. It just said 2 teams. We came into the league thinking that 5th and 6th place would be relegated, or 7th and 8th place. How come is this now? Us, 13 and 14.
So let me just clear up that. Coming on, you spend your program doing that. There is law, right?
Okay.
And there are a lot of things named precedents, but one of the most important one is when there's a controversy, the judge is going to ask what did the author intended, what did the person who wrote thing intended, and that would be made clear quickly. So I don't see anybody could have used that. Plus, there's precedents. Is the last 2 teams for years, which the court also takes. So I don't see anybody could use that as a.
All right, we have a caller online. Welcome to the show, caller. What say you on the topic?
Yeah, after everybody, we Cataract with that point, they have a call in, brother. Cataract. It's a universally accepted language or understanding that the bottom 2 teams get relegated. So even if the rules don't explicitly state that, in every other football jurisdiction where they have relegation and promotion, is usually the teams that are at the lowest end of the scale when the season finish, involved in either the Premier League relegation playoff or that them demoted. So there is no, the argument they couldn't stand up in enough real court of law.
Me don't have no money for test anything, and I'm not trying to be the person who muddy the water. But let me say something. In every other league in the world, it's the team that finishes with the highest point that gets the trophy. That doesn't happen in Jamaica. There is a
No,
four
Kendrick,
team.
it's not the only league in the world that
No,
it
well,
happens.
sorry, MLS has that too. But in the majority of leagues, in the majority of leagues, sorry, thank you, man, for the correction.
Yeah, I would
So
say majority.
you can state that. Look, I'm not beating on the JFF today, right? Really, I'm not. Because it happens. What I find is it's pervasive throughout Jamaica, where we just tend to treat things lightly in terms of being very specific and not ensuring that there are no loopholes and there's no ambiguity in things. Because there are leagues in which there's a playoff between the teams from a lower division, teams coming up, right? There are leagues in that case. That was the case for the League Two in England for a while before they just decided that the bottom three teams would be relegated. It used to be the bottom two teams, and the third from bottom would play against the third place team from the National League. So, and Mr. Speed has accepted that, and I hope that next year they will be very specific about
Yeah, the
relegation
language
and
could be more specific. I can agree with that. The language could be more specific, but I think also the language in the court of law, if it should, then like the intent of the person, intent is also, and truth is a defense as well. So when I come into the court of law, you have those couple of things that could easily throw this out. But Mr. Speed, so what I was asked is that why
And
would you?
remember, you have the case of Westball and FA where we were told that the team to participate in the tier two would be the top two teams that finish in the local league, and we were hearing that never. Look here, the thing
No,
just have a straight note, Mannings.
no,
I not go around the thing with that.
get
It right. It
get
doesn't
on.
help the brand, and this is not the JFF at this time. I'm not beating the JFF at all.
Yeah. But like I said, it could be made clearer to remove that. But Mr. Speed, so I mean, all right, because we don't want to believe at this point. So you can the people can be assured that two couple of things. One, the teams are aware. They were made aware based on the rules and regulation that there will be relegation. No, right? And there will be promotion. All right. Everyone can be rest assured that there is 14 teams will play in the next edition of the JPL and not 16 teams.
Correct. And if there's going to be a change, for it would have to be for the 2024-25 season. But this next one is cast already in die as far as I'm concerned. There's no upswelling as far as I know that anybody want to change that.
All right.
Nobody, I've never seen a motion come to say anybody want it to be 16. Not that it's impossible, but there's no such motion. There's the Premier League professional body saying that they can't afford 14. So I don't know why. There's no way anybody would want to go up to 16 when the Premier League body is saying, boy, they can't afford 14 and want to go back down to 12 or 10.
And
So
so this is what I want to get to know, Mr. Speed. You have a club that participate in this league, all right? Do you believe that we have all the necessary components to operate a profit making, high quality league in the present Jamaican construct with more than 10 teams?
look,
And
remember,
if
you know,
so, explain. Yeah.
I remember. I don't know. I can't tell you what the number is. But I can tell you some things about football. Every single league that they have now is being expanded. That is the trend. The
So
CONCACAF league,
I'd prefer you use a lot of leagues are expanded, not every.
well, all right, majority. Let me put the word majority because I don't want it look like it's few. Because I've researched, there's only one league that I know that has contracted their top league. Every other top league has expanded.
Really, give me the top. So the English league has not expanded.
No man, expanded or stay the same. That's what I mean. I don't
Eh?
mean expanded or stay the same.
Oh, okay. Or stay the same, not
Yeah.
contract. So
Yeah, there's
this
only
is
one
between
league that I know.
expanding and contracting.
There's only one league that I know, top league that I know contracted. One. Just only one. I can't.
Okay.
Right?
So the issue we're talking about is the
But
contracting of
if
the
you
league,
look
not the
at
expansion.
but if you look at like the Caribbean Champions League, they've moved from 6 to 10 now. World Cup moving upwards. What people have found are a way to generate
Well, those are not really leagues, though, Mr. Speed.
Champions League in Europe has expanded. So I'm
But
just
it's called a Champions League, but it's not a league. The
It's a
definition of a
regional
league is
competition. It's a regional competition.
whatever,
it's a little bit different though.
whatever, man is man. I'm
It's
just saying.
Go
The
ahead.
point is, what those people have found are additional new ways to make money, right? Jamaica, even if we have 10 teams or 18, just making money from the local game will not be enough. So the numbers to me is not the issue. What we have to do is find innovative way to get money from overseas because local money will never be enough. So like television rights is an avenue, and that is why if you know the numbers and it's public knowledge basically, we used to spend like about 40 million trying to get one match on television every weekend. Now we don't spend that money anymore. We are actually earning money from television because we made the league.
Did you just say we used to spend $40 million Jamaican to get
40
one game on
million.
Yes.
to get $40 million to get one game on TV?
One game per week.
40 million?
The Monday night game, that's what it used to cost us, yes. One game per week. So
Mr.
because
Speed,
we made it into a television, because of the new trust, and we've been into a television product. And a lot of people don't give Donovan White a lot of credit for this. He's the one who came up. He was the marketing committee person first that, you know, we and him and sat down and decided that it is going to be a television product. That is why now we used to have 6 matches on television, and that is why now it got to 4. The year that we won, every single match was televised. So that movement to become a television product, instead of we going minus 40 million, we were able to negotiate a contract that we don't pay none at all, and we actually earn money from it. We're earning probably over 20
You are
million.
being paid.
We are being paid.
Okay.
I think a further step is to get our product in spaces that people will be willing to pay for it. I mean, other mediums, YouTube, whatever it is, to start to generate revenue from it, is where we must focus. Because I'm telling you, if we even have 6 teams, get money from gate receipts.
Mr. Speed, we have to explain this now, because Brian makes sense. Sorry to interject, because that what you were saying never made. But now we get a better understanding. So the $40 million was for the season, and what that did was give you 1 game per week.
Yes.
Okay,
and,
all right.
And that wasn't the most. And that wasn't the most.
No. What I'm saying, you know that this is completely different from what you originally said.
Man, it's just so completely different from what you originally understood.
no.
That's what I mean.
All right.
As I say, you have to ask the author what I mean.
But I did ask you that.
I did clarify it, man. You never still know on that.
The cataract. Me tell you.
Man, stop wasting time now. We can move on.
All right.
So the point
me.
The point is the 10 team.
Yeah.
You still can't make no money unless you generate additional income. That's my point to me I try and make. So I think all that what we are doing are go about things the wrong way. You see, one of the things that we put in our rules, do you see, is that for 6 people from CARICOM could play 6 overseas players could play on our team. If we want to make our people watch our league, we have to start getting other nationals in our league. Every club have to play them part. You think Manchester United get them Chinese man if they play upon it because the man better than every other black and white man with their Europe? None of that. They know what they do.
This Chinese man is on Manu.
When the Park brothers used to play.
Yeah, he's Korean.
Korean though. Yeah.
Yeah, wherever. I mean, we have to know what we do. We have to understand. Say if we want really serious about football, we have to look how we make the money, how we make the revenue. We have to incorporate. That is why I have 3 Caribbean players on my team, because I know that when Sportsmax broadcast it, I see the jump on them and the pot cover them when they lick at St. Lucia when Daxelia play for Cavalier. What that mean? What that mean? It means that the whole of St. Lucia watching the Jamaica Premier League. So we have to ensure that if we're serious about marketing and developing up the product where we want it to be, we have to tick all of the boxes then. We can't be selfish and talk about Jamaican players alone. And then now, once we're widening.
Hold on, Balakar, Mr. Speed talking.
Once we widen the amount of people who watch our league, is so we'll be able to earn more money from the television product, because it's only television can save us, nothing else. That's why.
So Marines, I would want to challenge Mr. Speed. That simply having.
Let me just take. You want me to take Balakar first because
no, I don't. I'd like to respond to Mr. Speed as I'd started to, and then I'll yield to Balakar.
All right,
Hold a second before you start. So hold on, Balakar. Television and sale a player overseas are the only 2 things that can save us. I don't want to add that one.
Right, go ahead, Ketarak and then Balakar.
Right. So I'd like to ask Mr. Speed a question. And because you see, in this thing, when you're making decisions, you have to have it has to be evidence based. No, there's no evidence to suggest that everybody in St. Lucia watches a comedy game.
Balakar.
Just hold on, the Balakar. So what I'd ask Mr. Speed is, can you share with us how many jerseys, replica or otherwise, have been sold annually in St. Lucia? Because that is a true data evidence.
Okay.
So this year is the first year we're trying to sell jersey. So the figures don't come in yet.
The figures don't come in yet. Okay.
No, this is the first year we put jersey on the market. This is the first year. Next year is 5th year we have played the Premier League. This is the first year. So what I'm saying is that we need to rev up our marketing. As the same thing I'm saying, rev up our television viewership. That's the only way we are able to break even. There's no other way.
All right.
And actually, there's one other way, which is Far East gambling. That's
we do earn some money from that. But I don't think enough. Yeah, so I agree.
But I still don't agree. But I have a different angle. But I want to finish Ketarak because I want to hear what Balakar. Balakar.
I can yield for Balakar now.
I can't call in to find out if an EPL show this a review show. Because we talked about game last night.
You thought Mount Pleasant versus.
Yeah.
So you thought the JPL show, not the EPL?
Yeah, you know what I thought, man.
Okay. All right.
No, we don't.
We're not really at the game. We did that yesterday. But talk about the game, though, man. What say you?
Listen to the way how Bygrave up there right now. We don't have him as the number 1 striker for now. I don't know if I injure, Chevante injure. You see me? The Rasta fan Dumbo Walling play good last night too. But you said the Dumbo Walling. If he say Phillips. If he say Phillips need to do more as a creative midfielder.
You understand? So
Yeah.
those the thing they me see wrong with it where him they do wrong right now.
Yeah,
Him
but
have a
them,
bad patch, so then can switch him up too.
but
Just like how
yeah, but I understand on that note. I understand that they sign a next striker. You know.
so me get that man, so when I break that
Eh? Yeah, yeah.
when
Management,
you
break the news, management, because everybody know who. So just break the news. Make the man
Oh,
hear.
but yeah, they signed a new striker that was there before, but went away and he's back now. He went far away, now he's back in Jamaica and he should be ready this
oh that
weekend.
Daniel Green.
No,
Oh.
he's originally from Montego Bay.
Alright then, me know how then. So when again you talk about the show, cause I just
Friday,
that me can't
Friday,
talk about it now.
Friday.
Ah,
You hit the like button yet?
long time man.
All right
Number
then.
good number man. So more forward off my life, cause
How
I
me if
just
you
that me
remember? How
can't
me if you
talk about.
remember if you hit the like button, Balakar?
So you know, can see it the whole time, you know, it people like button on and say, yo, it card then see it on the computer, man.
How me if you see when you? All right, Balakar. Balakar, no
You
bother.
can't have my man, man.
All right, boss. We have to go find out. We'll go find out.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
find out.
yeah, man. Friday again. All right, that's Balakar, Pete. All right, so Mr. Speed, here's what I am saying.
The
So,
proceeding was brought to you by Bellevue, new and improved facilities.
boss, no matter with that with my brethren. You're mad. I mean, when Balakar call back in it, you know, say a different thing. But what I say, Mr. Speed, I hear you saying that this is what the league need. This is what. So, the thing, all right, it is what the league need. I would agree with you that if you had a wonderful TV deal, major sponsorship, significant jersey sale, lots of overseas players in the league, lots of people watching the game, all right? If all of those things were in place, yes, increase it. We don't have them, no. So why not? Why not keep it at a manageable amount instead of incurring more debt? Because teams are not able to manage because none of those things are in place. When those things come into place and there is additional resources that can sustain two more clubs, you add them. And then when it can sustain two more clubs, you add them. When it can sustain two more. But right now, what we are saying that if we had that, and all of us agree that if we have a multi-billion-dollar TV deal, then we could do more teams. The fact that we don't have those things now should say to us it is not viable enough to attract those things in this present format. Let us work with a smaller amount, maximize the resources, make things better, and then we increase from there. Why is that concept cannot be implemented instead of increase it and go and do the work and get the resources?
Management, increase what? There's no increase.
Yeah, no, we are talking about it was increased from 12 to 14.
But I told you what happened is the club had asked us to do it before.
Oh, then if the club them ask you to increase it to 16, you're going to increase it?
They did ask to increase to 16. We haven't increased it to 16.
No, but based on here's what I'm saying. You just said the reason why it was increased from 12 to 14 is because the clubs asked. So what if all the clubs come and say no?
The
Don't
clubs had
raise
a
it.
very logical argument when they asked.
Oh, so if the argument, what was the logical argument to move it from 12 to
But
14?
me go over it already. It was supposed to move from 12 to 16. Me tell you everything already. What the club said. What they wanted to do with their monies, infrastructure, and get younger players to play.
No, man. So here's what I'm saying. So you are saying that when it moves from 12 to 14, the clubs all agree that it will be viable?
Clubs all agree that it should move from 12 to 16. Come like you're not listening.
Yeah, man. But you're missing the point I am making, though. So I hear that. But it didn't go to 16. It went to 14.
It only didn't go to 16 because 1 year no tier 2 competition was played. Else it would be 16 already.
So based on your thing, you know, so me not sorry for none of them club in Jamaica.
No, based on my thing, as them ask me, it is a letter.
No,
I can give the letter too. I'm
no,
gonna say
man.
an internal document. I don't want to share it with you.
You get it? No, man. Mr. Speed, nobody get different. What I'm saying to you, when you say based on your thing, is you me I talk to. So you are giving me, based on your responses to the questions that have been asked, I am not sorry for any of them club who are boss, they do have no money. Them for broke. Because at them say them want more team and them know say no money they did it. Because that is basically they are saying, give us some more teams knowing that they can't manage. That don't make no sense to me.
But management, I'm going to tell you another fact.
Yeah.
Remember, you always a break all I news them, you know.
Yeah.
Before this new dispensation, let me rephrase it that way. Then. The money that each club receives each month now is more than double what they used to receive before this new company formed. So they are getting more than double what they used to receive before. Of course, some clubs lose their home games as a kind of trade-off, but they are getting more, in some cases, triple what we used to get before we turned into a television product on a monthly basis from the professional body. So even with the increased teams, the amount is more than double. I just wanted to say that.
All right. So let me ask. So let me ask you this question, and then allow Marlon to chime in. Do you believe that the monies that the clubs get now is sufficient for them to operate at break even?
No, but me tell you that already. The only way we were able to break in is because we send some little player overseas and we get some little money.
No.
Or you have to get additional sponsorship. It's just not enough. The money that you get is not enough. It's not enough to run any club. But guess what now? Management, it was never enough for the next 47 years before that.
Then that is why. So, Mr. Speed, but you're making my point, you know. That is why we don't hear about Wadada for so long. Reno, White Horses, and we can go on. Santos, Los Perfectos, Black Lions, De La Vega, City, River, why? Mile Gully, you know, Savannah. You know why? For the same reason. That's what I am saying is that the reason why a lot of those clubs went under is for that very reason. And so now the idea that we're not giving enough money, we don't have enough money, we need more money. We all agree on that. All right, and there needs to be an effort to get more money. All I am saying is that whatever expansion, I am not fighting expansion. All I'm asking is that we need to try and get this thing operating efficiently, and then we add the teams. I personally don't like the idea of adding teams and then say, let's get the money. I would say, get the money first, add the teams. But everybody does it a different way. But Marlon, what say you? Because you are a Mount Pleasant man, and you see some of the other leagues all over the place. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Good afternoon to everyone in the chat. Cataract, big up yourself, Mr. Speed, bless up yourself. Yeah, man, we're there listening the conversation and stuff. Understand what Mr. Speed is saying and what you're saying as well. But as I said it a couple of times before, I think for the league to be more viable, we have to reach out to the Caribbean where we can have more players coming in to develop the league, right? Person might say we'll be holding back our players, but it's a way for, as Mr. Speed said earlier, and when in St. Lucia, when they go on Castries and when Cavaliers won the league, right? The big support that they had in St. Lucia with having St. Lucian players in their team, same way. I have friends who are in the Eastern Caribbean, Southern Caribbean. Every Monday night they tune in to watch the JPL the same way. Person in Aruba, Curacao, same way. So in the Caribbean, the support is here. So if we can reach out in a wider region there to get these players there, because there's a lot of quality players over there as well, to come in and really let the league expand. I think, as I said, I think the two teams that came up, they were basically was not gonna cut it there, and I think the two teams will come up next year unless they come with a big inflush of cash. to get players in, they will go right down because I think that with nobody getting relegated last year, I think those 12 teams were basically established already. So they have an understanding of the league and how to maneuver in it. So if we don't get the quality players coming to build the league and to make the TV, the market, for the market, I can't say about marketing. As I said, the Caribbean is here, and there's a wide audience here. So I think the more players we can get into, especially Caribbean players, we know say some person from St. Vincent, St. Kitts, right? Lucians and there already. So we have a couple of St. Lucians players playing the league. So that's one way we can do it. If they can mandate, I think that we can have each team can have 6 overseas players, right? Implemented for even next season. I think it can build a league as well.
Do you believe, though, Marlon, that we can, because Mount Pleasant has tried that. So what I want to find out, though, is that do our teams have the necessary resources to facilitate 4 overseas players? How many of our teams can afford that? Is a product that lucrative to have that?
Well, Marlins, I think this is something they have to work out, because remember so when MLS start bringing in franchise players, it's illegal to play the players before the club start playing them. So, as we said, to make money, we have to spend money. So, if GFF can give a hand in even paying the players for the monthly wages, they have to figure out something. But I think it's a way for the league to grow, because the more quality you have, that's how the league will expand. When the Trinidad Pro League was going, what they did, they went out and buy players from all over the Caribbean. Right? Yeah, Joe Plug was playing with even 6 Brazilian, 3 Jamaican on it, and St. Lucian, Guyanese. So sometimes there was even no Trinidadian players on those teams. Double connection, same way. So that's how even in Dominican Republic, you see how they started off. They started off, I went and got a lot of Haitians there, a couple Cubans, and they started, and I know they have the best league in the Caribbean.
Okay. Cataract, what say you on this thing? Getting an influx
I
of
don't
players.
have to comment on this. Look, I think I said it before. Most clubs in the world operate at a loss. There's financial fair play in the various leagues, or the regional bodies mandate financial fair play. We do not have owners with deep pockets. It's a fact that the broke pocket man can't own a football club and run it as a going concern. Yes, I agree that bringing in better players will make the product there, but I'm going to put something to you. People have choices. And if I am going to, on a Sunday, either watch the Premier League match in England or a JPL match in Jamaica, which do I choose? So your product has to have a particular quality that makes it appealing to an audience. And my question there, I know Mr. Speed is not on camera, but when he comes back, even if I'm not here, to ask, what were the viewership numbers for the first 2 seasons of the JPL? So that we're speaking in a realm of fact. The last thing I would say is, and Mr. Speed sort of glossed over it, etc., to say, as a matter of fact, the EPL is now pushing back, because at least half of the clubs in the EPL, including Leeds, are sponsored by major Chinese online betting companies. Sky Bet, Bet360. I don't know if Arsenal is who is the sponsor, but if you look at, and particularly most of the clubs now that are making some noise, your Brentford, your Bournemouth, who would not have had the major big name sponsors, is the Chinese betting money for the front of shirt branding deal that has given them a good few $1 million, pounds into their thing. And we have a lot of Chinese investment coming to Jamaica, a lot of Chinese workers coming here. I would have thought maybe the league would say, okay, to China Harbor, well, can you sponsor 10 or 14 Chinese players to come across and go one in each club and allow the clubs to, we have to think outside the box, man. We just can't go the regular way. But as I said, I don't believe a viable product of football. You like to watch a match in an empty stadium? People don't watch that. That's why people are drawn to watching the derby games, the El Clasico.
Yeah, but Ketterak still, I think some person here are different. Let me tell you this. Right now, if Mount Pleasant and Cavaliers are playing Arsenal on TV, I watch Arsenal on my phone and they out of the game at Draxall. That is just me.
You know why you do that, Mannings, man?
Hold on. Mannings, let me ask you. And I'm not talking Arsenal playing Bournemouth. You are telling me if Arsenal's playing Manchester City and Cavaliers is playing Mount Pleasant. Let me hear this, sir. Cavaliers playing...
Yeah, man. They are the match at Draxall, man. Tell him I'm all on, man. I'm watching it on my phone.
Cataract, you see, you made a point. Cataract, you made a point, but you made a point, but you argue against the same point you made.
Go ahead, I'll be there to listen.
Hold on up, Cataract. I'm working in media for 30 years, so I understand what people want to read, and want to see. There are people like international news, but there's definitely a space for local experience. They want to know what is happening local. So I can't remember the name of what to call it, but it is like so those users are unique. You can't get them back. The sources are limited. So that is why, and the point you make about the Chinese players is so realistic, but nobody don't want to do it. Because if you start to use some people from other nations, big nations, India, China, in our leagues, that will make that nation, people from that nation, country, want to watch our league. It don't matter if it's good, bad or indifferent, It's just the personal, just like when you watch your son. If Arsenal, if your team are playing, your son are playing, you have to go watch your son. Him say, Daddy, come, you have to go and watch it on your phone for two, because it gets very personal. And that is the point I was making. If we start have more of these people that from the Caribbean, like more of these players from the Caribbean, those countries will watch them. Vino was the sportsman of the year in St. Lucia for what he did in our Premier League. That's Barkley. Vino, that our goalkeeper. Yeah, he's the sportsman of the year last year. Daxel was the sportsman of the year in 2021 for its exploits in our league. And is more of that. I'm trying to say, if we build on that, then the television stations will be able to ask for more for their subscription. They will probably sell pay-per-view. So now we can now negotiate more money. So it's a whole building process. And the gentleman in the white shirt was correct too. Sometimes you have to invest capital expenditure to make money in the long run. Well, that's how it is in business. There's have to be capital expenditure. Then you make revenues afterwards. So that was my point. So you haven't disproved my point yet. Neither you nor Mannings, man.
Of course, long time. Wait.
No, you haven't.
Anyway, Mr. Speed.
So hold on. Mannings.
Hey.
Can you yourself agree with me, Cataract?
Mr. Speed,
everybody on the panel agree with me.
Mr. Speed, you're living in the Matrix. You don't understand what's going on right now. You're living in the Matrix, man.
Mannings.
As a club owner, Mannings, man, you have to be careful when you say that, because as a club owner, me understand the business more than you all. When we short, you have to fork out the money.
Mannings, I wanted to challenge something somebody said about and understand, and I'm going to challenge Mr. Speed Anthony. When we have a football show, generally, we look at the views. Mannings will get like 1,000, 1,100, maybe 1,500 on a show. Somebody put up a show with Ninja Man and Kossaf, Hishi, and 174,000 views. Hold on.
We can't
No, but I
take
can't say a lady or I can't say a gentleman.
don't valve what use a different example. Don't valve my channel in them the thing they not get her.
Okay.
When you play your son, you use them example they get up. We can't money them level of dialogue there. Use a different
All
example.
right. Okay. Let's say True Island stories then, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about one gunman that get killed and how much people in murder. And he may get 20,000 views. Somebody talk about one accident or we never know CMR and somebody did give somebody bun and 80,000. So our thing we in the football world that we live in Jamaica, crank up TV. A man that doesn't go around the place and I ask people some little food question in a one town center. 30,000 views. We have even on YouTube the appetite for football and football discussion is tiny because people don't view it as entertaining. So we have to provide entertainment. So I don't agree with show improvement that no matter the level you are gonna watch. Maybe you are gonna watch it. Maybe well, me not gonna sit down and watch the boring program for football for 90 minutes. Me I tell you that bad man. Right? Unless you have a skin in the game. Right? Unless me will sit down and watch Crawley Town because Grant play, but under normal circumstances, apart from that, I'm not gonna watch Crawley Town. I'm not gonna watch it. Because but let me tell you what happened. The difference between the teams make the match competitive. You understand? The 5 matches that I've watched, the 6 matches since he joined, the matches are competitive. So you have to sit down and watch it because you're on the edge of your seat. Right? There are 2 Jamaicans there watching Korea die in the goal. What you think? But outside of that, my heart is at Leeds. So I understand what you're saying, Mr. Speed is correct, that if you have a family member somewhere, you have a thing. But let us put it flipping. How much of us watch the Vietnam League? But players went to Vietnam. How much of us watch the Indian Premier League? You don't think you can find 5 men that sit down and watch the Indian Premier League?
All right, let me just say this, Getter. I don't want to get Kyle in. I want to get Kyle to say something, but I'll say this. You see, we talk about TV and watching game. Now, if you're asking me if a JPL game is playing on TV and Arsenal is playing on TV, that's a different thing. Let me tell you again. Football game is about the experience. You can't compare sitting at your house and watching something on TV for the experience at the game. Marlon is at Mount Pleasant. When you're at Mount Pleasant, being in the stands, hearing how them talk to Tapper, how them talk to player, how fans banter, the music, the Pinnock man, the man who drunk. Where if you go to Mount Pleasant today, him drunk. If you go there tomorrow, him drunk. If you go there upon the morning, him drunk. If you go there lunchtime, him drunk. If you go there, if the game play 3 o'clock, no matter what time game I play, him drunk. And him when you see those things, you understand me? The entertainment package many times, the vibe. That is a part of it that you don't get on TV. And sometimes just to be in the area, many people choose that. And that is why I go there. It's just like if Jamaica, if Arsenal and City are play Champions League final and Jamaica play a match at Mobile, me I go watch the Jamaica match at Mobile and watch the Champions League final from home. But Kyle, you are here. What say it to you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hello to the subscribers and viewers. I've been listening. I've been watching and listening, and the first thing that comes to my mind is that people are conflating points to justify points. First of all, I agree with Mr. Speed that to have more viewers from the Caribbean is a plus. Because I've always preached this. Living in New York, we all know this. Jamaica is the Mecca of the Caribbean. You ask every West Indian, and the first thing they want is
mechanize.
Mecca or whatever you want to call it. Jamaica is the Mecca of the Caribbean. So when their athletes go there, whether it's track and field, football, or whatever, believe me, we hear it. All right. The second thing is to Mr. Speed. You know, you openly admit that the RSPL clubs are losing money. No one is making a profit. As any businessman would say, if you're losing money, then how can you expand? It just does not make sense. Which lead me to look at other examples like the Premier League and the MLS in this country. When you purchase a club in the Premier League, the first thing they ask you for is a financial stress test. It's the same thing here in the States. Not only that, but in the States, they want to know, can you build a stadium? What is your seating capacity? Can you bring fans in? Are the clubs in Jamaica doing the same thing, or do they just say, okay, let's expand the league and any man can come in? You see, it's two separate issues. You're talking about expanding the league and making money. You're talking about bringing in players from the other Caribbean countries to basically expand viewership. Two separate issues. We want them, yes, but guess what? The primary point is your league is losing money. So how can you expand and how can you justify it to your shareholders or your stakeholders, which are the viewers? Over to you, Mr. Speed. I'm sorry.
Team Mr. Speed. Cataract, Marlon, you want to say anything based on what Carl just said? Look at Mr. Speed signing a check.
Is it a $40 million check? For the one man? Look, hard questions have to be asked and hard answers have to be accepted. And when you do a business process re-engineer, when you re-engineer what you're doing, is when you realize that things are not going the way that they should go. And ultimately, somebody might decide, look here, let me just raid Jamaican League and take away everything we have decent in it. And we are left with an unsellable product. So it's not that you have ad infinitum and time immemorial to do these things. You have to act quickly. The JPL as it is now is not an attractive entertainment product. It is not. There was a time, however, when the league, when I said to you, every Sunday religiously, where Arnett is, we are, me and my brethren. Now, I select the game that I go to watch at Arnett. I'm not going to watch Arnett play here. Come now, go sit down. First of all, the place are empty. I have no hot girl and I stand for prayer. So me alone, I'm a buckler white rum. No, sir. I will go and watch Arnett beat Cavaliers. And because I just want to laugh after Mr. Speed. That will take me to wherever Cavalier is playing Arnett, I will be there, except, there. I watch Arnett play Mount Pleasant because it'd be a good. But so I pick and choose the games, and I consider myself a die-hearted football fan. And if I am picking and choosing the games, it is a problem. Because
sorry, just a quick interjection, quick. I don't watch certain Premier League games either, I know. I want you to know that, I don't watch certain EPL game. You're gonna find it very hard for see me. I watch probably Leeds and Bournemouth. I tell you that. I'm not watching it. You think every La Liga game I watch? I don't watch certain La Liga game.
But I understand certain man, and you are very honest, but certain man come by the thing and say they watch every game in the world.
No, so you must maybe
what bad ask me if you have a head on a swivel. How much device you have in that house? Remember when I used to tell you, I couldn't really tell you about the Premier League because the championship, I watch called Leeds in the championship. When we first started, we knew each other and introduced. We couldn't talk to you about Premier League play. We could tell you who good in the championship because Leeds, I watch. I'm going to have no time.
Marlon, do you watch every Premier League game?
If there's person of Jamaican heritage on it, I'll watch it. right? But mostly, and you know, it's seriously no man, you know, it's upon a Saturday, you know, so most of the championship watch. Sometime if we can get the League One game for some of the Jamaican play them in, we watch them. We know what the Premier League have to offer. When a key game I play, yes, we play me watch, right? The big boys are watching, but some of the small game I watch. But
There you
championship,
go.
championship.
I
The
mean, I was
championship game
watching
them
on
hot. Tell
TV.
them man, the championship game they hot. League One hot. Right now, Sheffield Wednesday have 90 points. And it don't look like Darren Moore are gonna make it automatically. It's spicy. Allow
For
me to
real,
tell Marlon, it's
you're fine.
spicy. Me try
Them on
dig up and find because me support Darren Moore
In fact,
as
let me
a
tell you
former
this.
Jamaican.
Let me tell you this. Arsenal played on Friday and drew 3-0. We don't bother watching more EPL game for the rest of the week, Papi. I don't business who I play. I could have Chelsea and Liverpool. So it's just it's just a personal. You understand me? So you can't even watch like sometimes they can't even use that to make any judgment. You understand me? Because sometimes it depends on what is happening and the value in the game and what it will lead to. You know,
But
determines if you watch it. But Mr. Speed is still busy because I know Kyle had a question for you, you know.
and I have a
Sounds
question for
like
you
you're
after
still
Kyle's
communicating.
question. But if you can make a note of this question, Mannings, and an observation. A business has to ask itself hard questions. How was it that m- Premier League matches were played at the National Stadium and the stadium was reasonably full? Right? I remember going and watch Arnett versus Tivoli. It had to be moved to the stadium because I think that year was an election year. I think it was in 2002. It moved to the stadium and it was full.
Yeah,
Um,
just the other day when Mount Pleasant was in the semifinals, when Duki was the coach, the stadium was packed.
the stadium wasn't packed.
What you talking? Even last season, what happened at Sabina Park?
Sabina Park is not the stadium.
No,
Stadium I'm
no,
talking about.
no,
That,
no,
that
no.
is
looking at
Hey,
around
listen,
50
and
fans
people,
out,
you see
30.
the people. First, let me say this: the people talking about the stadium was packed for certain games. The stadium never packed, sir.
I would
This,
what I call packed, is I call regulation capacity. When we
but,
see the stadium
but
packed,
somebody
it's
said,
illegal.
if the stadium is 15,000 people in there, big crowd that, and Sabina Park are 15,000, what is the difference?
No, sir. The stadium not 50. If 50,000 people in the stadium is half full.
So right, and Sabina Park are 15,000 people. Because around that amount of people there, Sabina Park at the JPL game.
No, well, I need to get some official. Mr. Speed for
Hold on,
next season.
hold on.
Hold
Who
on,
said
let me
that
just
no
ask something.
people remember the JPL game at Sabina Park last season?
Go
What not talk
15,
about?
17,000.
Man is man. Man is man.
About 17,000 people cataract. What not talk
Man,
about?
man is man. Please. Y- y- You're getting emotional now.
Yeah, man, see me. All right, Marlon, you talk to them, yes. I'm
No,
going
no,
there, man.
man and man is what I'm saying is at the end of every match, and this is something that don't cost money, right? This is what I'm talking about professionalism, Marlon. At the end of every game and publicized in the report of every game is the attendance at a match, large or small. That's the kind of professionalism. So, Mannings, I respect you, but we shouldn't be depending on your recollection. There should be somewhere that has the figures for the JPL games.
No. The cataract. We can cataract. No, listen, don't shift the
Correct.
goalpost.
If they were playing,
Yeah, hold on.
where can I
People,
corroborate that figure?
cataract thing is all cataract is saying, people, is that we should have the attendance figures. All of us agree, cataract. If that
Okay.
is what they're saying, cataract, if what you're saying is that we should have the attendance figures available. Everybody agree with that. That's not what I am talking about, though.
Yeah, but that is important because that's what drives sponsors. A sponsor not gonna say, boy, me I come and the management say
No,
17,000 people there. You get the official figures from the police. You know that the police, you know that the police and fire have to.
That's not where you started, though, Keter. You just gone there now. But let me hear from Marlon, Kyle. Because we need to, the
But
people that come. Go ahead.
I remember just before the pandemic hit. I remember I don't remember the game when we lost to Cavalier 1-0 before the pandemic. That game in Jacksal that night.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating, Keter. I think if there was no walking space in Jacksal, stands everything full.
Listen,
That, there was no,
one match at Mount Pleasant, 22 cars were stolen. We had to pack. One game. Everything locked down. The whole no vehicle can pass up, right, or down. People late for go airport. Since Mount Pleasant have been in this league. Tell them, Marlon, because I think a joking. 22 vehicles stolen.
Yeah, man. It's recently the attendance start going on because the team fall off. But when Mount Pleasant up on top, Keter, remember say check Waterhouse stands on. And Mount Pleasant fan dominate the straight through and again the same way. So
no, you know, come on, guys are outnumber other gardens. Don't try that. Don't try that.
I mean, but I think the data is important, though.
Okay.
But man,
try that.
It's a car theft. It's a key performance metric for game.
So yes, so we'll have to measure the number of cars too.
Hey, Dwight, let me tell you that. When you go stadium, you know, say stadium they park. When you go outside the stadium, I hear man say, "Well, I wish I didn't park." I saw. No, and the man say, "Yeah, man." He said, "No, man, because he can't must somewhere else, man." Try me trace me step again. You know, say stadium didn't park.
Morning.
Kyle.
Yeah, why? I mean,
hey, people, what are they? Kyle, people, I am not boasting about the number of cars stolen. Please.
You enter that as a key performance indicator.
No.
I'll be informing the thugs and honey gardens to lift up the whole of the car. Them that look where have the taxi where have the side of it say Chariot Spear Town. Lift up the whole of them.
Kyle, go ahead. Let me leave from the conversation. That's a bad example, man.
So we can all agree that we have a product that needs to be marketed, packaged, and sold properly. And that, you know, the more we get the Caribbean involved, the better it is for our product. That's to satisfy the comments about what you call it, attendance issues. And let me just say though, you know, we have the GPL pinned up on the Reggae Boys Supporters Club website, and the highest volume of viewers are when the big teams play. You know, and you get an average like 15,000 people watching, and I'm pretty sure that's from overseas. All right, but as per Mr. Speed, you know, I'm still waiting for an answer to the question. You know,
Kyle, you're saying you have 15,000 viewers watching,
right,
during game time, or the video has 15,000 views?
I've seen it. I've seen it at 15,000 views live when the big boys play.
So can I come in here and let me help the person? So yeah, let me help you. Because I have the numbers looking at. So it's 26 countries watch our local Premier League, right? We have viewership of over 1.5 million households across all territories in the Caribbean region. US and Canada and worldwide is seen on Scene TV. We don't have those numbers, right? We have when Mount Pleasant beat Umberland 5-1, there was 15,279 views on it. When Waterhouse played Harborview, it was 13,444 views. Waterhouse Conquer Mobile, it was 13,171 views. Live stream, Harborview versus Portmore FC, 109,306 views. Veer United versus Mount Pleasant, 68,819 views. So those, and we had like one at a time we had 700, and that's a Sports Max on YouTube. That's the amount of views a person will watch one match. That is when it is live on YouTube. So yeah, app users by country, Jamaica have 186,000 person use the app to watch it. 68,000, Trinidad and Tobago 57,000, Guyana 54, United States 33. So all the people in my United States, they now what you think. St. Lucia 14,000, Suriname 11,000, Martinique 11,000, Brazil 10,000 views. We have people use the app. These are figures that are verified, and I just tell you what they are, Cataract.
So, Mr.
right.
You're a numbers man. So, can I get an answer to my question before you started writing your checks?
Give me the question again, Kyle.
I remember the question, right? No. Anyway, I was saying, Mr. Speed, that in England and the USA, you have financial stress tests before stadiums are built. New teams are formed. In the USA in particular, nobody can say that they're going to come into the MLS and they're going to join. They have to basically have a financial stress test. You have to show them that you can build a stadium and you expect X amount of spectators. Number one. In England is different because stadiums are already built, so investors basically purchase clubs. But you still have a financial stress test. So my question to you, seeing that you admit that your league is losing money, nobody's making money, what is your financial stress test?
All right. So the JFF has what you call a club license system, and there's some financial obligations where you have to pass, but they are not onerous at this stage. They are like you must have the bank account, you must have contracts of players. And it's not true that anybody get paid less than minimum wage. I see people brandishing around that thing. It's not true. But most financials that I have seen for clubs, yeah, all of them in the red. But anyway, that's what happened to most clubs all over the world anyway, some of the big clubs then. You have to remember, say, United States is based on their structure or they run their clubs. They are better off than most. I mean, it's the 10th best league in the world. People don't even realize that MLS is the 10th best league in the world. So they're in the top 10. So and the way they structure their thing, they run it to make money all the time. So Jamaica don't have those stringent stress tests that that the USA has. But I wanted to point out that you have leagues in Europe don't have those tests either, those stringent. So I don't think we're by ourselves.
All right, Dwight. Dwight has joined the show, so let's hear from Dwight. Go ahead, Dwight. Make a point. I know you can. Are you hearing us, Dwight? Dwight, you're muted.
He's coming.
As a matter of fact, just to add that with the
yes, man. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you now, clear and loud.
Yeah.
Go on, Dwight.
So with one of the things with the league, and definitely keep the JFF out of discussion with the league. It needs to attract more fans and be attractive to more family fans.
Connection weak, Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight, I don't know if it is your connection, but you speak and then are you watching? Are you listening to yourself? You're watching yourself. I think you're probably watching yourself.
Got it. Does it sound better now?
There you go, man. Yeah.
I had the YouTube on another link.
Yeah. Go ahead. Man.
So the big issue is, so the JPL has to look at not only viewership growth, but fan growth in the stadium. The smart move that they have made is using certain venues that are viewer friendly, and you can. I like JC Stadium. The JC Stadium I think is good. I would come there with my two daughters. right? But the JPL has to look at growth in terms of the fans in the stadium. You might get one game that gets 15,000, but divide that by 26 matches, your average attendance is low. Or let me take that back. Divide that by the 13 home matches, the average attendance is low. I will say I was in Ocho Rios at Drax Hall, and they had a vaccination thing going on down the road. Mount Pleasant was playing, and yes, we were late to the airport that day. Place block up. I will also say that coming out of the JFF Tier 2 league, and I'm not sure who's leading after the first two rounds, if you get a team that's promoted from Falmouth and another team in Ochi, and then you get another team out west, that will draw and improve your viewership because it's a big strain on those fan bases to travel all the way to the corporate area 2 times a month. So key is looking for growth in the fan base. In the fan base, the stadium right now in Jamaica football as a whole, from the senior team all the way down to the JPL teams, there is not growth going on with the fan base. That was just all some of the things I was looking at. Obviously, there are better key performance metrics than car theft, but it is in the Jamaican reality, it is a key. It is accurate. If the nice car there, yeah, some fans who have money are at the matches. So it's funny, but there's an independent and there's a dependent variable there. So yes.
Yeah, I think one of the things I agree with you is that I think we have to make the stadiums a whole lot. Well, let me say this. One of the things I liked about the JPL was that they were using not the home stadium, but I think teams want to play in their home stadium, which is an issue. So I think we have to get away from people going to stadiums and are standing up because there are no seats. There's nowhere to sit down. I think I'm getting a feedback.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's nowhere to sit down. One, there's no proper bathroom for you to use. If it's, and this is even with Draxall that have seats for the most part. If there's rain, everybody comes into one area, and it's crazy because there's only one area that provides any sort of shelter. So you can't even pay for a sheltered area. So now I think some of those things, if like I said that, we use the venues. Like I think Catherine Hall is a very good stadium to use to host games, right? And they have been used. I like the JC Stadium if the surface could be better. I still cannot understand why Stadium East is not used more often. I think that is also a next good venue. So there you have like 3 right there. Arnett Gardens is okay. I know that some people will not want to go down there. I also think like where Harborview is and how it is, it's a nice stadium as well. But the surface needs to be set up, right? The Waterhouse Stadium, they have done some work there as well. So there are a few other stadiums that have improved. I think they need to do something out in Clarendon to set up something where people can go and sit down and at least have a covered area. Sure, improvement says, for example, that I want to go and be able to bring my son. I am wondering if there is a way that I don't know. Like yeah, like if there's a way for kids to be in the stadium and not be affected by the like the parent just said it by cigarette or whatever. Yeah, so I'm trying to like if, when you go to Stamford Bridge, do the people actually like smoke in the stands with kids around them?
No,
Is
no,
that
they
allowed?
don't. At Watford, at Reading, at West Ham, and at Emirates, no, you're not allowed. And so basically, what you have the ultra section, the standard section, usually behind the goals. But on the other section, you can bring your kids. I've been in London in those stadiums. You can literally bring your kids. Now you have to be careful when you're coming out of the stadium because there's a lot of fights there. They have the just about. But in terms of sections, there are some very family friendly sections. The JPL just needs to take a certain section of the stadium. Don't make it the halfway line because that's premium tickets. a certain section of the stadium and make that a family-friendly section. Put security there, no liquor sales, no sesima bun, right? And
No,
you
no,
will
no.
draw
What
more
about?
people.
No what?
No what?
what speaking tongues, Cataract. Kyle, what are you saying?
I was
Manny, you don't have no yellow card. 'Cause that's a red card offense right there.
how
In
many
a sense, Mannings be cleared as a man from St. Anne, which is the second parish for the good Caliweed.
Man,
Are
say
you
sesame.
endorsing this message?
No, man, for the good sesame.
Thank you, sir. Apologies to the regular users.
how many JPL clubs have stadiums?
How many JPLs? All the clubs have. Well, do you
No,
call it?
probably Arnett and Harborview.
No, but no. What else have us? What do you call it? Like, all right, you have to define what you mean by stadium.
Exactly. What do we call a stadium?
No, yeah, you have to give me.
Right. So
Yeah,
people,
what's the definition?
hold on, boss. So people talking about, we shouldn't do this in the stadium, we shouldn't do that in the stadium. I'm just looking and asking myself, do we have stadiums? How many clubs have stadiums, structures that we can call stadiums?
No, but Kyle, they are stadiums, but it may not be the kind of stadium that. So that's what I'm saying. What do you consider to be a stadium? You have to give that definition because it is a Stony Spalding Stadium. It is.
No. I will give you my example for what I would call a stadium. Arnett Gardens would be a stadium to me. JC Ashermine Stadium would be a stadium. Something with a seated structure for spectators with at least 3,000, 5,000, spectators. How many clubs have that structure? I guess it's just me and you, Spence, because everybody else is frozen. So answer that for me. You know how many clubs have that?
From what I have seen, Waterhouse, Arnett, Mount Pleasant with Droxhall, and Harborview. I would say 4. Best,
4.
at best.
Right. So again, it go back to the question I asked. Speed. Do we have a financial stress for these investors that coming in who want to join the JPL as per what you're going to bring when they come into the JPL, meaning investing in infrastructure, stadiums, seating capacity, a family-friendly atmosphere. Do we have at least that? But yet you want to expand it. I mean, it's chaos. And then the excuses, well, people in some clubs in Europe don't have it also. Come on. That's not an excuse. If you're striving for best practices, implement it because you want to sell your product overseas, right? So I mean, come on. I mean, we need to be realistic with ourselves, where we are as a nation in football, where we want to be, and what we can achieve. You know what I'm saying? Basic things we can achieve, because I believe having a financial stress test where these clubs come in, that they need to meet some kind of minimum requirement.
So Kyle, what you're saying that we shouldn't run a league then because none of our teams have stadiums.
No, you just missed what I said to Spence. Basically, I'm saying that we need to have structures in place. That if we're going to expand it, that they have to meet a minimum requirement as to how.
No, it's one of those minimum requirements having a stadium.
Well,
that's very difficult for the average.
Right. Well, I agree. It is difficult as per coming in, but it should be the objective, meaning that within a 5-year or a 10-year time that you build something.
So let me ask you, seeing that, just follow my line of reasoning.
Yeah, go on.
Arnett Gardens don't have a stadium. They have been in the league more than 5 years. Tivoli don't have a stadium. They have been in it for more than 5 years.
What are you talking about? Mr. Mount Pleasant. Arnett Gardens has a stadium.
No. Based, I did ask about the definition of a stadium. Based on my understanding of those things are not stadiums.
I mean, they have a seating capacity of how much?
So
Arnett
that's what.
Gardens is a stadium. Arnett Gardens will qualify as a stadium. A sports complex stadium, mini stadium. Arnett Garden qualifies as
So
one.
what? So if you call Arnett Gardner Stadium, then Freddie Nita Park is going to be called a stadium. So this is why the definition is important.
Well, I gave my definition as per seating capacity between 3 to 5,000. Maybe
So
I'm
any
being,
place.
hold on,
So
hold on.
once a person has seating capacity of 3. No, Kyle. Let me just ask the question. All right, go ahead, Kyle. Because I'm asking the question, because I need to understand.
I know,
Because
but I didn't finish answering you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I gave my explanation as 3 to 5,000. Maybe that was being a little bit rigid. Maybe it could be less, but the basic tenet is that you have a seating capacity for family-friendly people with basic infrastructure. How many clubs have that?
So let me say this. Do you know that I don't have to own a stadium to play in a league, though?
All right.
Correct.
Even
true.
in the MLS, a lot of the teams don't own the stadiums.
Okay, fine. Good. Do we have it?
Do you know that even in England? So for example, it is okay for Falkland to have a lease on Catherine Hall. It's not theirs, but it's a stadium that they use.
That is
Falmouth could use. So the requirement is not to own a stadium,
but to have
that
the infrastructure
A
there.
dedicated venue. That's what they need. A dedicated venue.
Right. That is the point I want us to
they
make.
need to see it.
Manning, that's be a little disingenuous. Because there's a financial fair play. If you own the stadium, then in the FFA, that goes on the side of an asset, a fixed asset. So it goes towards your bottom line. If you're operating a lease, then you are at a tremendous disadvantage in the financial fair play because that asset, that is not even seen as an asset, it's a liability because you have to pay annually for the lease. The accountants can take over from here.
So let me just get a cataract. So all the teams in England own the stadiums.
Most of the teams own their stadiums.
The supporters trust own the stadiums. The supporters trust do. Well, the ones the League One, like does Millwall own their stadium?
Yeah, man. And the council would normally sometimes they get lands from the council.
West Ham doesn't own their stadium. I think it's owned by a private group, if I remember right.
No, West Ham doesn't. But West Ham are trying to buy the London Stadium. Because remember that was the Olympic Stadium,
Yeah.
And then they sold their ground.
Where the Chelsea Stadium?
Does Chelsea own their stadium? No, nothing but that side of Chelsea own nothing. But Arsenal owns its stadium because you own the high.
Arsenal owns the Emirates. Fulham owns their new stadium. Bradford built a new stadium that they own.
Chelsea owns a stadium.
Really?
Leeds owns Ellen Road.
Where did Portmore United play the other day that looked so good?
Chelsea fans, thank you. Somebody else tell me. Chelsea fan owns their stadium, not Chelsea. The club don't own it.
The supporters trust. Chelsea supporters trust.
But that's what he said, man. You're not listening to him. The panelist said to you that
because you said that I was being disingenuous.
No, and I'm saying to you, no, man. You have to give the full picture. That if you don't own the stadium, then that goes against your financial fair play.
But that don't happen in the MLS because some of the MLS teams don't own the stadiums.
No, it's not a requirement to own it. I'm saying you can have a long-term lease, but then that becomes a liability in your financial fair play.
Listen, trust me, Jamaica not going to have no financial fair play issue, man.
We won't. We just run the club them broke.
Cataract, you think Jamaica League going to have issue with financial fair play?
We have, because the clubs them not financially viable.
No. In the Jamaican physical model, that's gonna. Where did Portmore play the other day? That stadium looked very good. Portmore in their last match.
Freddie need a
They have really improved
It
the
only look
visual.
good. It only look good. It only look good on TV.
How was the pitch?
Better than
Marlon,
half.
Marlon was here. Marlon went to the game. Talk to us, Marlon.
The field is good. It's improved from where it was when Portmore was on top. It's improved.
Because I was in Portmore last July and the field didn't look good, so that's why I said it is much improved.
At that time.
Yeah. So I think I agree that there should be seating capacity if you go, which is a part of the club licensing thing, but it can be done through lease in our whole system and structure. But can you make a good point? There should be some minimum. There should be some minimum standard to operate as a club. In other words, I think we have to get to the tier 2 and assess even the tier 2 teams. And I said it earlier. If the tier 2 team were being asked to enter the competition, yeah, man. All right, do it. Bless up. Right. If the tier 2 teams were being asked to enter the competition right now, would they be ready? And if you won't be ready, then why are you even in tier 2? Like, there needs to be that assessment. Do these teams have the necessary things to participate in our top flight? And if they don't, that's where you need to make the decision from the tier 2 still. But we have been going for a while. We have around 8 more minutes left. So let me just run this, right? Because people have been saying, what is wrong with East and Pinnock? All I'm saying, people, is this. What if something should happen to East and Pinnock? Who is going to be our left-sided centre-back? Let us find some options. No, people read into that. There's something wrong with East and Pinnock. Go ahead, Keter, what are you mumbling saying?
I'm saying don't even think that.
Huh?
Don't even think that. That would be a
No, I'm not talking about World Cup.
Right? No, I don't mind if Brentford bench Ethan play for the rest of the season.
Listen, hold on. People, we have to have 2 players in every position. Who is
3 quality players, not quality
2
players.
quality players? Who is Pinnock's replacement in that position? Is a left-sided, a left-footed centre-back. Tell me,
don't.
who is the left-footed centre-back that we have? We don't.
We don't.
So we need to find one.
There's none out there either.
There are, man. There are. We have to recruit one. We have to recruit.
A lot of them use right. A lot of them use right foot and play the left side.
Those that will be only the 2. Reese is 2-footed.
Pardon me?
Who?
Williams and Reese Kelly. Reese is 2-footed. Like Kelly is left-footed.
Reese who?
He's playing left back now for bro. Huh?
Lloyd Kelly is left-footed. Dan Byrne is left-footed. Yeah. James Hill is left-footed. Levi Colwell is left-footed.
Get me a Levi in an English setup. I don't have him coming.
I would love. Man is a Christian, so I will. Me that go over and go bam. We go bring him come. He is that good. He is that good.
Brother, go on over when him Valiant, when him.
The only approach is there with the
when the artist name. When him.
What's the Valiant?
When him.
It's just like the man who says sesame meat.
I don't know him. I don't know him name. Whatever name, man. No bother with that. Yeah.
I'm on the ground, you know. But go ahead, Marlon. You were saying you agree with any of those options. We do need a very good option at the left-footed centre back because you can find yourself really in problem. But I'm saying your Levi Colwell is
where could winning the Gold Cup be something to convince Ben Godfrey to change his international.
Convince who? I'm not hearing the names somehow, Marlon.
Ben Godfrey.
Yeah, but Ben Godfrey is not left-footed.
Come on, he's left-footed. Predominantly left-footed, two-footed, but it's more left-sided than
Two
right side.
footed, bro. He plays on the right side, but he's not left footed. And I believe Levi Caldwell is a superior defender to Ben Godfrey. No, Ben Godfrey is right footed.
Left-footed, left back. Holgate is right-footed.
They must not know what me I talk about. Me know Ben Godfrey plays on the right hand side.
Play left back for play left back for most of the season, man.
Ben Godfrey hasn't played for the season much.
Huh?
But I will check that out.
Left back is the other day. When Holgate
when you're building a team, right?
Yeah.
How many players you need in each position?
Depth chart has 4 players. A depth chart has 4 players per position.
Well,
an international team. But go ahead.
I don't know what kind of team you attack. Like
an international team. An international team is a team.
Yeah, international team going into like a World Cup campaign. Ideally, how many quality players you want in each position?
Well,
that is a depth chart.
It depends. It depends on what you are trying to achieve. For instance, and it depends on a lot of factors like the age of your players, how aging they are, because and depends on what kind of program you have. Suppose you are prepared for 2026, which is 3 years down the road. You have a really good under 17 program. You have a really good under 20 program. You have a good under 23 program, and you have a good senior program. So you have all of those teams in tip top. Now, the under 23s, if they are 22 now, either the players not good or the good ones must force them way in the senior team. So you could really not keep a depth charge as a 4 player over 4 times each position of player, say a senior team players, those, because you have these other underlying teams that have quality players that play at a high level. So you don't need that depth up there. So you could go 2 up there because you know that the Olympic team members are ready to step in. And then say under 20 players are also ready to step in another 2 years. And under 17, some of them. Because if you look at the last World Cup, like we just talk about modern football. There was a lot of 20-year-olds doing extremely well, a lot of 21-year-olds doing extremely well, 22, 23-year-olds doing extremely well in the World Cup that just play. So it's all about what type of quality you have. Then you decide what type of squad you need to keep and what the quantities are at certain age level.
So, so Marines, because some fun of English football. Gareth Southgate said he has a depth chart of 4 per each position. However, where I would agree with Mr. Speed that it may not be 4. For example, at left back, you have some utility players like Kieran Trippier who could play left and right back, and so you wouldn't have a 4th one. But the depth may include the fact that one of those players is in the under 23 or the under 21s, but you still know where you're going. Or you might have a utility player that can play more than one position. That means you don't actually have to go deeper, because what you don't want to do is a fallout of quality. So in England cases, if the 2 right backs were injured, when Reece James and Kyle Walker were injured, Max Aarons, who is the staple right back at the next level of squad, he wasn't called up. They went for Ben White. They tried the Kyle Walker Peters had got a couple of caps, but they didn't go to their AFC squad to bring up somebody. So I'd like that.
Yeah, but it depends on which environment you're in, because I know we should have qualified. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying that there could be different strokes for different folks because of a number of reasons, which is so I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying because that England could use that method, and Brazil would probably use that method. The more established countries would use that method because they know that the clubs will develop a next set of players for them before they reach the next World Cup qualifier. Unlike developing countries who don't have such good leagues, the country itself have to start to develop the players because they don't have the leagues to develop the players to that standard. So they might look to start to carry a youngster when they're going with the senior team, or carry 5 youngsters or 6 youngsters because they want to start to blood them, make them understand what it takes to play international football, etc. So I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think your method of find that more in the established countries that have them game model and them superior leagues, etc. But with the developing ones, it could be a different. It's a little different.
Yep. What say you, Marlon?
Well, as Cataract said, I think in our case, as you said, finding the Ethan Pinnock, right? As Mr. Speed said, if the quality is there, yes, I agree that the player can be molded to make the step up. But if the quality is not there, that's a bigger problem because where we hold Ethan Pinnock at the level right now, I put it in this case, or a 4 centre back, right? Pinnock and Low, there'll be 1 and 2, right? Person will be third vying out there will be Liam Moore, which is out injured. So we'll leave it Mariappa, King, Topi, and whoever else is there. So there's a big fall off there. You have an MLS player, right? Premier League player, Mariappa is experienced, and King. So those will be the 4. And probably Lambert, who's playing centre back now, which you use him as a CDM. So the depth chart is basically that who have documents, so it's not that deep.
What about Joel Latibodier?
Well, when the paper is there.
Okay.
Whenever Joel document is there, I think he could be that one there. As I said, he's a multi-talented. We still have Wizarding there, same which a lot of person have probably don't even mention again, don't even remember about, who can play on both fronts at the defense. Joel have the same quality, same way to play in the back 4.
Can play on both sides.
Center back, right
I am
back.
yet to see a game where West Harding plays on the left side of the back 3. They play a back 3. His team plays a back 3 at Rotherham. I have yet to see him play on the left side.
Wait. No, I think he had like 2 games there, and he had 2 games at centre back. No, because no, it's him, Humphries and Tyler Blackett is back. So you basically have a Jamaican back 3 there.
So ideally, you need at least one full person, like one like in every position. You need one solid replacement. Yeah,
one you won't fall off if the player steps in, you won't have a fall off in quality or performance. That's what I would think.
Yeah, you need that person right there in every position. Goalkeeper, centre forward.
Come on, Cataract. If your number 1 fall out, you must have a fall off in a quality. You are just saying you don't want it to be detrimental or noticeable, but you must.
Okay. No, and I accept that. I accept those definitions, Mr. Speed. You're correct.
No,
so you don't want there to be a.
So let me ask this: If Casemiro goes out and Fabinho comes in, is there a big fall off? Let's ask it.
A little.
If Allison goes out and Edison goes in, is there a big fall off?
So when I ask if Messi goes out and anybody else coming, if there's a fall off.
Yeah, he's being selective. So I'm agreeing with Mr. Speed. I just allow it to pass. I'm agreeing, Mr. Speed. You are correct. You don't want there to be this passive, like it's your game plan then falls apart. You know what you were planning to do. What you would like is for the pieces to fit roughly if somebody has to come in. You know, and if that doesn't happen though, you might have to change around the whole approach to a game. You
Of
know,
course.
if Harry Kane is injured, for example, England would have to change their approach to the game because if Rashford is leading the line, he's a totally different player to Harry Kane.
Yeah, but they have Tony, Ivan Tony.
Different,
No,
different.
Mr.
no. What? Yeah, but what
Mr.
Qatar
10
is saying
minutes.
is true. Sorry, go ahead, Qatar.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mr.
No,
Sweet.
what I'm
Sorry.
saying
I'm
is
having a
true.
minute.
Remember, every single player have different characteristics, what they're comfortable doing. So it don't make sense you put a man for play post up center forward when him is a running behind type of player. Him can't play post up. He just can't do it. So you couldn't be serving the same balls to him or you'd have served to somebody else who's good at it. So that's the point. Qatar was not.
And Mr. Speed has captured it eloquently. I need not say another word. So, so you don't want to have to change up the whole structure of the thing because maybe then if you change, let's say England changed to Rashford, who plays alongside Rashford, you would have to drop Raheem Sterling
Yeah.
because
All right. So let me say this.
they don't
All right.
really complement. You're
All
going
right.
to need a
So
player
Ryan
that can
Sterling stop
play the
there.
truth.
Let me ask you this, Ketara.
So,
So
the Rashford.
hold on there.
Pardon me?
So who are the
After,
centre backs of England, Ketara? The two
Nash-
centre backs.
they
No,
compliment
man.
him.
I'm hearing two different things coming. I don't know if it's a delay of some sort.
All right. So let me Ketara, who are the two centre backs for England? Firstly, the starter.
The first two, John Stones and Harry Maguire.
All right. You feel like if Ben White play over Harry Maguire, it's an upgrade or a downgrade?
Downgrade for England. England downgrade. No, yeah, it's a downgrade for England for Manchester
No,
United.
the point I'm trying to make is sometimes the number one is not really the number one.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. That the number one, they're fitting pieces together. So John Stones is a ball carrying center back. He plays best when he's taking the ball out of the and passing and rather than hoofing the ball up the field. Harry Maguire is out of your life. Sometimes he's in your life because he will put the ball in his own net, right? I see that against Seville. But he's not trying to be refined or polished, right? Which is why I believe that it will be a battle royal to get a player like Levi Colwill, because I believe England sees in him the kind of centre back that could pair with a John Stones. You know, but there are others. You have Connor Cody, you have Chawarski. They've brought in a lot around the thing, but they have stuck with Harry Maguire because Gareth Southgate sees something in him that the rest of the planet and even those angels above cannot see. If you wanted a raw defender, you don't think Lewis Dunk is a better raw defender than
better playing defender, read the game better, same way. 100% better defender.
But
better header of the ball.
The one
everything.
thing I say though, the best player is not always the best fit.
Correct.
Right.
It depends on the tactic or what the coach wants to do. So, for instance, the argument with John Stones, if you notice what Manchester City has been doing with him now, because he's that type of centre half, he's playing at central at one of the pivots, but because Pep is so concerned with counter attack when him attack with 5, because him play him as one of the pivot, but every time they start to defend, he's just dropping the defend line, so the 3 become 4. So that is the versatility that John Stone have. Of course, you couldn't put already to do nothing like that. You see the difference. So Pep was able to see, he's a genius, although some people don't believe, to see that him could play that role where him in a midfield, and as soon as the attacks at him must drop in the back 3 and him have a back 4. Hard for breaking down. That is why another reason why Pep up on such a big run now and almost look unbeatable, you know. His defensive organization is
until
better now.
until tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
let's hope.
Is an interesting observation, Mr. Speed. Interesting observation. I never looked at it that way. But I wondered, and maybe you could shed some light on it, why Harry Maguire is keeping so many different quality kind of Mark Gihey at Crystal Palace. Flimoka Tayoki, the one at in Italy. Chris Smalling at Roma. How is he keeping these players out of the England contention when his club form is disastrous? What is it that you think that Gareth Southgate is seeing that we are not?
If you're enough, I think Maguire has one bad game for England over the longest while. It was a game against Hungary in the National League. So to be fair, England performance has been 100 times better than Manchester.
Okay, I will hear that. But I just wondered if Mr. Speed could shed some light as a footballing A-license coach as to what.
So what Marlon? So what Marlon answer?
If we get a license, though.
No wrong with Marlon answer. You're right.
Marlon's an unlicensed driver.
I say basically Marlon him never really want you answer him. We don't really want to hear from you.
Yeah,
You want to hear from the
No, man, I don't really. I wanted to hear a technical. Is there something technical, Mr. Speed, that a trained football eye is seeing? Marlon is a fan like myself, but a trained football eye is seeing that we are not seeing. What is it that he's seeing for Harry Maguire? Or what is there in the England setup that is allowing Harry Maguire to play in that way that doesn't translate into the club form?
Well, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just think still in a Manchester City setup, him have more pressure because I don't think
Manchester United
setup him have more pressure. You know, him never looked that bad when he was playing before him get transferred, but that $100 million price tag, then him come into a team and them want him to captain the team and lead a team like that. It was beyond him, and I think from one pressure to more pressure and just get worse and worse and worse and worse. But for England, sometimes I don't think the pressure is there. The coach, you know, it's funny. And you would believe that there's less pressure playing for your country than playing for your club, but it's actually true. And that is why he probably don't have any much bad games there. I mean, the other thing too is that England Premier League have some of the best coaches in the world. They would have known that he's vulnerable in some way and try to exploit it. Maybe them sledge him, I don't know. But he just look like a different player in both parts of it. And then Southgate have to just pick what him say because well, I still wouldn't start him if I was Southgate, but you know, Southgate is very respected and keep him job. Nobody not really pain pressure him for losing job right now. So I suppose he's doing well in the eyes of people. I don't know. I'll just go with the answer that you get before.
No, is there any credence to? I read somewhere. Is it that he is the protection he's offered in England with Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, and Declan Rice in particular, means that he doesn't have to face, or he doesn't get faced with the kind of attacking threat that most of it is nullified by those defensive midfielders, and things tend to be shunted wide. Any credence to that?
Yeah, I mean, yes, because there's difference or England set up or they probably when they defending the man that they use when they defending make him probably have less pressure. So there's a lot of different ways how coaches coach. Like for instance, there's a player that I used to have that is at Mount Pleasant. When I play him at central midfield, I play two midfielders, one team left and one team right. So most of the time, him just sit on a midfield and kill everybody with passing. Them try to use him in a double pivot now, and it doesn't work for him. So that's what I'm saying. Just that one small change could make the world a difference because the player was probably the best midfielder in the league when he was playing for us, and him go there now and can't get a game. And it's just one simple different change that I make with that player when he's playing for me as against how them playing now. So it's possible.
But
All right, well,
and to add to,
Marlon, sorry.
I think when England, because England mostly dominates the team they are playing, so they have 60% or 65% of the ball most of the time. The pressure is not that high, but when they get teams with the quality that comes at them, I think that's the difference. But Manu, the pressure is on his shoulder. Even when he's not under pressure, he tends to make mistakes. Same, but at England, you don't see those mistakes made for the national team.
Yeah. All right. Listen, we passed the 3 hour mark, 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm going to go through, starting with Qatar, give you a couple of minutes. And in Jamaica, a couple normally means plenty. But for I Am Sure Sports Today, I am sure that a couple means two. So, Qatar, let's begin with you. Your 2 minutes begin in 5, 4,
Bad,
3.
bad man, no play number 2. So, you have
I
to,
was
you have to
asking you to
fix
wait.
that
I was asking you to talk for 2 minutes. So if you
twice
want to,
minutes. So I will talk for twice minutes. Right. On the matter of the JPL, we think that there's some serious questions that have to be looked at in terms of the sustainability of the league. I look forward to being on a program with Mr. Speed where I can ask some very pertinent questions about the criteria for a club to be recognized as a professional club in Jamaica, and wonder if the bar is set too low. Um, as we come to exciting times about the CAC games and Gold Cup, I'm looking forward to sharing a program and panel with Mr. Speed and Marlon as we try to look at what's available for Jamaica. But I believe that there is within the Premier League very competent players who are eligible, who can be persuaded. I know some are outside of the realm of persuasion to come on board on this project. I look forward to seeing the local base players step up their game in the last and performances in the last few weeks of the JPL and put themselves into contention. The real question, I look forward to Jamaica and maybe another program, Mr. Speed, he can look at Levi Colwell and just give his assessment of him as a player, because he's really one of those once in a lifetime generation players that you see come about, like how Rio Ferdinand had came about and took the place by storm. And still on the table for Jamaica, so that's a good thing. The under 20 camp that has been called up, Mr. Speed, that is, I will answer that question. Can you tell us, is it Thursday and Friday that they'll be in camp, and when at what point in those camps the public supporters we can come and support our team and look at the players in training?
Cataract, if it was me, I ban everybody from come over the camp when they're training. But I don't know if people can go in there, but I would ban you all. I know it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow and Thursday, it's not Thursday.
yeah. And the media the media has been invited.
Yeah, so that's
what time is the media invited, Manins?
Huh?
I don't
What time is the media invited?
You see, because I don't go to those things. I don't go to those things. But I know there is the team. Oh
Management,
Jesus.
let me clear up something first. This
All
is
right, go ahead.
just this is not the under 20 team. What John is doing is getting to have an intimate knowledge of some players. He's gonna be calling other players and other players and other players. He's just looking around because his thing is in 2 years' time, but he's just starting early. So this is nobody should walk away to say this is a team and there's better players. Of course we know there's better players. You have people like Blake, who is not there. He is somewhere in Chicago Fire, I understand. So this is just a first look, and he deliberately didn't call 25 people because he's more into picking. He's a for him to pick to see the 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 ones out of what him have here and then add. So him actually doing not an elimination but more of an adding process. A different way of picking a team that he's using. So instead of start out with 40 and then chop, he must start out with small amount of add. So that is how I'm going about it. So this is not really the team. It's just looking at what, at some players, right?
Thanks for the clarification. I think, but we understood that, and I forgive me if I made that suggestion. That it's just the camp that I should just say, because we're interested to follow. We're interested to follow the process, and especially with local players, and to really build a affinity amongst the fans and the players as we seek to get a groundswell of support towards 2026, the Gold Cup and onwards. But thanks for confirming that the former coach was a chopper, and this coach is a hammer. I'm out.
Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, like what Chatrak was saying, the league really needs a financial stress test for those that are coming in my opinion. And it needs to be more detailed so that it starts making money. And I believe that's the objective of the league. I can't see how for so many years it's losing money and you're going to expand. I mean, that simply just doesn't make sense to me. That's number one. Number two, I'm very enthusiastic about the under 20, what's being done. I'm over here, New York, watching. And I'm glad to see the input of the coaches getting involved. The senior team, I expect to win the Gold Cup. I really believe that we can win this Gold Cup, given how I see us playing and the new found confidence in the whole team. The whole administration, the whole fans, everybody seems to be on board. And that's about it. It's good being here, listening to you guys, and keep up the good work.
And Kyle, how far are we?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Speed, we're almost there. We're $2,540. So I believe we are what? How much that time, man? $160 shot.
No man, how much you trying to get for 3 persons?
No, we're trying to get $3,000.
Right, that can be for 3 persons.
Right. No. So we are $460 short. So if you can donate that would be nice.
I'm donating that every week,
Listen, man, I tried calling you and WhatsApping you to give you updates, but you didn't get back in touch with me. So I guess you're busy. But yeah. So hopefully by the end of the month we should have it. I plan to do a program with Mannings to basically raise that money. And that's from the diaspora. So that shows you the strength of the diaspora.
Yeah.
All right.
No, thank you. Yeah, it's welcome.
Yeah, man. So people, Reggae Boys Supporters Club over there. The link is there. $460 more needed to help with getting some coaches getting the B license. Marlon, your 2 minutes.
Yeah, man. So as Katarak was saying, I think we need to market the league more. I think the league doesn't have that pulling power on it. Before Mannings, when they have a marquee player, Shelton was at Harborview, or Ricardo Cousins and these guys at Portmore United, Omar Day before they went on and stuff, right? Joyce, Kevin Beer, that at that time, say, yeah, the marquee player. So I think right now, I think where the clubs need the social media, I think they need to start to work on their social media page. I see Waterhouse doing it, Dumbledore doing it, Moulton and Harborview now and then. But that's a medium for you to really go out and put it to players, make the fans get to understand who the players are, right? Players them even do a 30-second game day and stuff. Put out your starting lineup and things. So that's a medium there. Very, very, very happy that we are starting our preparation early for the under 20 team. As Mr. Steve said, it's looking, but at least we see that being taken, right? for the approach because we need to look seriously, you know. Wide and Concacaf are basically, we see the little team across the road called Dominican Republic. They are qualified for the needs already. They're playing they play Iran a couple back. So we need to basically start on early. They should qualify. We need 5 months or
Yeah.
3 months to get players. So it's a good look.
All right. All right, Mr. Speed, anything you want to say in closing?
14 clubs in the Premier League.
Oh, Mr. Speed look like you answer some other. Hey, Mr. Speed, mind I get Ryanized on the program, you know. You understand me? The power phone call I never know, you know. So careful. Mind I get Ryanized, you know. You understand? But people, listen. This was a good one. Very, very good discussion. You understand me? I think we said some things, got some answers about the amount of teams in the league. I think we have made some progress. Come up with some good suggestions as it relates to the league. Also want to say today is Omar Daly's birthday, you know. Big up man called Ratty. You understand me? You understand me? Out there. Yeah, today is his birthday. So happy birthday to Omar Daly as he celebrates his birthday today. Today is also the Trick Nick birthday, you know. Big up in a Trick Nick. Yeah, man, today a Trick Nick birthday, man. You don't know in a Trick Nick. Bless up yourself in a Trick Nick on the earth strong. Have a good one. Trick Nick expand over there in a Canada, you know. Thing I get big, you know. Man, brand touch. I am sure sport and it just spread far and wide. You understand me? EPL games going on. Go and check them out. You understand me? Yeah, man. You know, some good games.
Leeds.
Yeah,
Leeds. We need that 3 points. We need to
you
take
know
off
that.
that 3 points there.
Leicester City actually scored and they took back the goal. You know, but Leeds leading by one. Aston Villa up at one and Wolves up one at Crystal Palace. Aston Villa one up at Fulham. And Leeds, sorry, they're at home. So Wolves at home, Leeds at home, Aston Villa at home. All three home teams are leading. You understand me? So, but big up on us. Go
John
ahead.
Russell
Yeah.
today against for Barnsley against Ipswich. They're done 2-0 at halftime. But do we know
Okay.
So Barnsley is down or Ipswich is down?
so Ipswich like they're being promoted today?
Okay.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
can you tell us if John Russell started for Barnsley?
And he started in the middle. They're playing a five across. So he's actually playing CDM. Got a yellow card so far too.
Yeah, Mr. Speed, you're 2 minutes to wrap up now, you know.
Yeah, so you know, the tier two, we didn't give it a name for this year. And at some point, yes, we have to visit a name for it like the championship. That's true. But for some reason, there never seems to be any urge to call it a name. I don't know why. I suppose because we have had so much of these type competition before that had various names, Super League, as different type of name. So I suppose that's it. But yeah, I think eventually we'll settle down and call it the championship or something. As it go back to the amount of clubs that is will be in the Premier League. Um, One of the things that we're not taking into consideration with most of the argument is the technical development of the country's stock of players. I mean, the FIFA is now spending, they have earmarked $200 million to spend in national associations with the slogan, don't leave any talent behind. So basically, if we ever go down to like 10 clubs, what is going to happen? 8 of the 10 clubs will be in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine, and one other will probably be in Clarendon, and one will be in St. Anne. So you see what is going to happen to Jamaican football. Premier League will be played in 5 parishes. Now, as I said before, football is never usually the five. It really even the best clubs. They find a way all the time to make sure there are representations, right across the structure, because it is important for people to want to be a part of the game. If you don't have team in places like Montego Bay, I believe for the Premier League, Mount Pleasant was a revelation. I tell people all the time, say even although I'm from Casafa, I was happy that Mount Pleasant went through instead of Barbican. And people give me stick for it, but you can see the value that Mount Pleasant add to the league. And if we are going to say we just want 8 clubs, so the 8 best club will come from Kingston and St. Andrew and Spanish Man and St. Catherine, that's really not a Premier League. Sponsors will not be energized to just sponsor a league that is played in 4 parishes, because they want coverage for their brands right across Jamaica. And that is one of the big dangers when we keep on saying 10 clubs, and we're not thinking about the player who comes from Montego Bay that is better than everybody else in Kingston at the raw stage. But he'll never be discovered because he's not playing for a Premier League. Nobody will ever know him or know what he can do. And that is one of the reasons why we still end up saying we wanted to have a tier 2 that every single parish have a team at start, so we can find every single talent. FIFA was really concerned and at wit's end because Europe won the last 4 editions of the World Cup, and even all the World Cups are either won by Europe and won by South America. So what they are saying is that, we need a champion to come from somewhere else. How that is going to happen if we don't find the talent and spend the money to make sure so we find those talent. Look, all of the money what we say we're losing, if we find one Messi down at Westmoreland, all of us will be well served by whatever league or tournament that we keep to find that one player. So again, don't be concerned alone about the money where each club will make, because no club don't make money in the whole wide world. Very few clubs do. And that is why they bring up financial fair play. What we need to be concerned about mostly is, are we finding every talent? Are we giving every talent a chance to play at the highest level?
All right. I hear you, Mr. Speed. So here's what I'll say, people. This is management theory. Great show. But what I'll say is this. Even if you have 14 teams, there's no guarantee that one will come from Montego Bay. If you have 16 teams, there's no guarantee that one will come from Montego Bay. If you have 30 teams, there's no guarantee that one will
there
come.
is. Maza. Let me tell you why. Management, there is.
The probability increases, but the possibilities are still.
Management, there is. Casafa always have 16 or 5 teams. So that means if you have more and more teams to come from. So no care what we do, there's a place where it bottom out based on the population.
All right. So people, you notice how management no interrupt nobody, people. As far back as management can remember, I don't remember any team from Hanover. All when it was 16 teams and 2, so none from Hanover. So increasing it to 16 teams don't mean that no team from Hanover will be in our league.
No, they're in the tier 2.
Oh, okay. All right, I see it again, people. No, we're gone from we are talking about the Premier League, Now going down at tier 2. As far back as management can remember, there has not been a team from Trelawney, from St. Elizabeth in our Premier League. As far back as management can remember.
Leeds.
Even when it was at 16 teams. When Western teams were dominating.
Leeds was in the Premier League.
Leeds? As far back as management can remember. You understand me? When I think about teams
I'm not Leeds United.
It was called Leeds United. But not the one it is.
Patrick Bamford did not play the JPL.
Right?
White Horses were in the Premier League at once.
White Horses and Port Morant United.
Correct.
Long time. Portland, St. George's. All right.
And Port Anthony United.
St. George's.
And who?
Port Anthony United and Taros.
Taros from where?
Portland.
Taros from Portland?
Yes, and Port Anton United in a
Taros
national.
from St. Mary.
Taros, no man, a Port Anton.
Taros, isn't Taros from St. Mary?
That's Cosmos.
Star Cosmos.
Star Cosmos.
Star Cosmos. St. Mary.
But people like management giving us some further information. So when like the team from St. Mary were in the league, it was 16.
What was it?
12.
What was it? 12?
14, sorry. 14. The point I'm trying to make is that increasing the number of teams don't mean the parish going to really have any. Mile Gully is the last team from outer Manchester. Aston, all management is saying is that at the end of the day, increasing the team don't make football in the parishes better. Clarendon, the parishes that have done better at the youth level continue to produce more Premier League teams. Look at where the DaCosta Cup titles have gone, where the players are from, and you'll realize those parishes always have Premier League teams. DaCosta Cup.
Stets is a perennial DaCosta Cup semi-finalist, finalist.
When Stets has won the DaCosta Cup, majority of those players come from Westmoreland. When Rossies were dominant, majority of the players came from Westmoreland and St. James.
St. Anne never win the Premier League yet. Team from St. Anne never win the
like Mount Pleasant.
The Premier League. And team from St. Anne never win the Costa Cup.
So St. Anne teams, you have had Benfica up, down. Volvo up.
No man,
down.
he's asking if a St. Anne school has ever won the DaCosta Cup.
No.
But St. Anne has produced Premier League clubs without having a dominant team in the DaCosta Cup.
No, but what I'm saying to you, the teams that consistently have teams in the Premier League cataract, those are from the parishes where the schoolboy football are champions. Check it out. Check with it. But yeah, man. But like St. Anne, that is why I think St. Anne always have team going up and coming down. Because the parish itself not produce enough footballers to have 1 and 2 and 3 teams. See, if you go back to even the Black Star team that was in the league and doing well. At that time, the teams in St. Anne did very well in schoolboy football. In fact, when Volvo was doing well, they had a player who was one of the top players in Jamaica. You know what they call him? Fed them up or held them up. Down a veer. All of those players left the school from St. Anne, called Marcus Garvey Technical. Some went to Dintil and some went to Veer. If they had all stayed and if Marcus Garvey could play the DaCosta Cup, probably would have won the title. So understand this. So that was what was happening. They weren't able to play and win because the team was not playing. They were playing in the secondary school competition and they won it. But they couldn't play in the DaCosta Cup, so they had to go to other schools. Not true? Not say Gomalan?
Yeah.
All right, sir.
Technical high them time there.
Right. There you go, sir. So what the parishes need to do is to fix their youth systems, and over time they'll produce teams in the Premier League on a consistent basis. That is management take. Big up all of the people on the program today, but it was a good one. You understand me? Big games this weekend in the JPL. I don't understand how the two teams they will get relegated. Get Monday night game, you know. Hey, JPL organizers now ramp with the program and not gonna lose money because nobody not go watch them a game, you know. We have got to change them around. Tell the team them to change. Tell the team say you can't bother with that right, you know, because
5 for 13 and 14. 5 for 13 and 14.
No, yeah, because you saw the fixtures. Let me give you the fixtures. Because Mount Pleasant and Umberland should be a Monday night game, you know. So you have Portmore and Waterhouse and Freddie Nita Park Sunday. Humble Lion and Mount Pleasant at Effortville. At them too much, there should have be Monday night game, man. Watch this. Then you have Tivoli Gardens and Mobile United, Edward Siaga. Cavaliers and Mullines at Anthony Spalding Sports
That'll be
Complex.
the feature game this weekend because Moline scored 4 goals last week and them hot.
Big match this. Arnett Gardens versus Harborview. Hey. Why? At them there be Monday night. Listen to the Monday night game now, people. Don't talk to me. Veer versus Falkland. What kind of joke thing that JPL are going with? Here's the second one. Chapelton Maroons versus Dunby Holden. What kind of joke thing them there? A joke match them, man. Yes, a joke match them all on.
Real man, because marquee game, Arnett Harborview, right?
Yeah.
Again, and if Arnett win,
Cavaliers, Mullines are even. Humble Lion, Mount Pleasant, Kadima content for position. Portmore United and Waterhouse.
top 6 fight off again. 6 versus 7.
Exactly.
Play the game where they
possible.
wanted to play the game them where it can influence anything on Sunday. That's the point.
Eh?
You heard me. The games that can influence the league.
So what them trying to do, you say, is play all of the game them. So,
Yeah.
So,
but na 5:30 on it and Harborview play.
Yeah, but them, you see, you have to realize that them they now want contest by themselves too.
yeah, but they're fighting for spot.
Right. That's why they
Right.
play them on Sunday. All I think they're fighting for spots, they play them Sunday.
Mr. Speed, Fresh God say if you can text me the number to send him for the brown lady that was beside you.
I'm a team manager, man, so you know see her all the while. You know see her all the while. I'm a team manager.
All right, people. Paul Marriott, blessings. All right, so people, listen.
Tell Fresh God to come a match, man. Tell him to come a match.
Yeah, that Fresh God. All right, Mr. Speed said the Browning is single. I'm looking for someone.
Yeah, but make sure you carry a jersey fee. You buy a jersey. What size you wear?
Yeah. So Fresh God, Mr. Speed said you buy a jersey from her. She just autograph it with her number.
Let's see.
Yeah, Fresh God. People, you're going to see Fresh God brave. See, I know. We'll make sure it's
Mr. Speed, quick question. I don't know if you notice already that Cavaliers gonna be in the Champions League this year, Caribbean Champions Cup, right?
Yes, it is Cavalier because we came third. Waterhouse have a part too. They can play. They're going to go in and play after.
Yeah, what was playing what do you call it now? The cup, the Caribbean Shield.
And if they come first or second, they come in the championship.
So we have three Jamaican teams and 3 Damer teams for the Caribbean.
Guaranteed. Waterhouse and another Damer team could be in there too, and have 4 each.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Asian teams got kicked out.
Yeah, they say they don't play any football, but it's something that they said I wanted to conquer cup because they won the Champions Cup, and then they went and kicked out MLS team, beat a Mexican team same way, although they lost an aggregate. So everybody's saying how this team not playing any football.
Mr. Speedboy, you put yourself in a problem, you know. Man says, since you're a team owner, you must be rich. Then the Portmore United Ultra says, why Mr. Speed don't let the Browning join the Spaniard?
But you should get her on your show one day as the only female team manager in the league, or the youngest person.
What's her name again? What's her name?
Shana Williamson. So you should get her on the show. She was our team manager from she's 19.
Yeah.
Youngest in the world.
And wow, and she's 25 now. Miss Williamson. Friday. Special appearance. We're trying to bring well past super chat. One smile from the Browning and Portmore United Ultras. Bank account empty.
Good afternoon. I have an issue.
All right. So people, listen. We are going to run now. and end the show. So listen, have a wonderful rest of the day. I am Manning this man. It has been a pleasure. And this has been I Am Sure Sports. And as usual, when it gets to this point of the show, we say we are over and we are OUT out of here.
Boom, check it out. I don't know it's Jason. I may represent for I Am Sure Sports. For the latest news and updates, check out I Am Sure Sports. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe and share. Jason representing I Am Sure. I Am Sure Sports.